Welcome, everybody, to the Onward VRML Season 17 North American Finals. My name is Nightfire with two E's. I've rejoined the casting desk with my co-caster Fire Soul to dive into an interesting Grand Finals. But first, Fire, how are you feeling this afternoon? We're here. It's the finals.
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much. We're looking forward to this. It's been building up throughout the year. A messy year for sure, but it has been an absolute blast. We'll see exactly how things go and how things turn out today.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, sometimes the messy years are the more fun ones to watch. You get to see new teams kind of come up through the mess, if you will. Grimtide and No Quarters in particular standing out to me as a team that really you wouldn't see here at the end of. If you started the season, you wouldn't say, oh yeah, No Quarters, they're definitely going to be a squad that's going to sit at, you know, that grand finals challenging spot. But here we are with them going up against Grimtide.
Yeah, this should be an interesting matchup for sure. Grimtide, very hot year, very powerful plays, and a lot more cautious than we've seen in the past. Usually known for a little more aggression, really buckling down and playing smart. And then you've got No Quarters, which has just been a real come out of left field for the plays. It looks like they've really put the work in. A lot of aggression, hard aggression coming out of No Quarters this season.
Yeah, and again, it's a battle of the unknown that we're getting into here today. And I feel like to start on the map we're going to start on is certainly exciting. We are kicking things off with an Arctic opener here for map number 1. And, I mean, best of 5. You know, certainly a way to warm up, Fire. But tell me, how do you feel about Arctic kicking this off for our opening map?
It's a very interesting choice. So Arctic, close range, very, very, very short time to get to objective on every objective on this map. It's within 1 minute and you're fighting for the objective. So generally you'll see teams play this very hyper aggressive. We'll see how that goes coming into this specific matchup.
Yeah, and when we talk about this matchup, I think one thing worth mentioning, if you aren't just tuning in from any one of the other EU streams, or I guess that's the EU finals that just happened, finished, is still going on. I think they're in their 5th map. Pretty crazy. But you are just popping in from there. This is the NA finals, and these teams have been battling for weekends and really waiting for VRML to come and go. You know, there's been a big gap of time between season and postseason finals here. It's kind of a weird, season 17 finish that we're into, but it's been a long extension of time where these two teams have been able to practice and prepare for this moment. So I'm very interested to see what we get out of GT and No Quarters. Did No Quarters come in from the Challenger Cup, or were they?
Actually,
okay.
No Quarters pushed to be here. They made it. What do you say? I'm not going to use the term fair and square, but they really pushed in.
Awesome to see. And here we go into map number 1. Arctic is where we're headed. It's Grimtide on the attack and No Quarters on the defense to open ourselves up here. And Arctic, always a good one, just because of the close quarters combat. Is something that's kind of unique in the space, you know, of Onward. You typically have a lot of long-range engagements, slow, methodical movements, but when you get to Arctic, the pace just quickens up a little bit. We'll see if that trend remains true with these two teams, as No Quarters definitely not extending too far forward. Fire, they're staying pretty tucked in.
Yeah, it looks like they pushed out a little bit on the north side from base slab, but looks like he's just setting up as he rotates back. Early nade comes out of James Boak. He's going to be controlling for middle lane. You're going to see a lot of pushes for this middle lane, especially it seems to be Grimtide really wants to take control of it. They've got 4 people strong in the center, and they're just waiting for their timeout to push.
Yeah, it's all about the timing. 5 minutes on the clock. You can hear them chatting it up about getting ready to go in. They're even calculating how many utility grenades were thrown at them. They're trying to sort of understand what to expect on their way in when they do push. And at this point, it feels like almost all the utility has been expended. A lot of nades tossed from that defensive side. And, you know, how does the offense proceed now? All of their smoke starting to come out as GT Reaper sets up their move.
Absolutely. Looks like we're going to see a little bit more aggression coming out of the center. It looks like no pushes off it, just smokes to force the aggressive. James is going to throw the smoke off the objective. behind Mystery as Crusader is going to immediately come into him. Flash catches James. More smokes on objective coming out from Grimtide. It appears No Quarters has no way to stop this. There goes the LMG from Ghost as he's going to pick off Crusader and stop that cap. We got 2 more on that center control. Fire has to come out. There is no choice from No Quarters.
Haywire getting the heal in
attention
there.
to Whiskey on camera 3. He's going to be pushing up into the north. Let's see if he runs into Haywire.
You also have Death on the south making their way, but that Molotov going to distract from that north push. As GT Mystery, James Boke up through the middle. James somehow dodges those shots, swings the corner, and catches a kill. Goes down. No, stays alive in the crouch. Whiskey trying to swing up on the corner. Will they find James? Yes, they do. James finally goes down. Was it worth all of what it cost them? Whiskey now the last alive, and they get quickly scooped up by Ghost in a clean No Quarters defensive round to open things up.
All right, that was a whole lot of quiet for the first 3 minutes of the game, and then all in the span of a minute, we had pushes from the center, the north, and the south. You'll love to see it.
And here we are into our first round of the day, and it feels good. No Quarters definitely opening things up strong with a good defensive hold there. You know, pretty standard at the end of the day, you know, not extending too far forward. But you will see teams get aggressive on defense in this map. It is a sort of a hero moment that you can take, right, where you can kind of just send it up onto that north-south or even through the middle.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of moments where late game is going to come down to maybe 1 person versus 4 or 2 versus 3, and those last couple players alive are going to make all the difference as they can push the objective really from any angle.
A big shout out to everyone tuning in here this afternoon. If you are stopping by, we do appreciate you hanging out. I see some folks saying Nightfire, that's me. I'm here, and we will turn Fire Soul up just a bit. Turn him up, they say, in chat as we do get into the action. Turn down. I think I got turned down the game, quite frankly. I know, right? Yeah, well, that's what we do best over here is cringe, I think. We really do. We've honed it into a fine tip blade at this point. But again, appreciate everyone stopping by, hanging out. This is the VRML Network, and you should get ready for a lot of action to come. We're announcing season starts across several Discords, and obviously that means that we're going to also have a lot of production of that seasonal content. So you're going to see just all sorts of VR esports action on this channel, VRML Network, and we hope you tune in to it. But for now, tune in to the start of round 2. As we do dive back into Arctic, a 1-point lead. Oh, how did I disable the scoreboard? I don't know what I've done.
Oh,
there it is. It's been a while, folks. 3 seasons, I think, since we've ran the cams. But it's all coming back to me now as we do get in to that second round. And again, No Quarters on the attack as we do swap sides. And Grimtide defend the same objective.
Okay, flying in the face of everything I've said so far, pay attention to No Quarters. Look how cautious they're playing. They haven't even made it past the center of the map yet. They're waiting for Grimtide to push into them, and Grimtide doing the exact same thing. They're all tight on the objective. No need to push out. No need to get cocky. They are focused in. It looks like we're going to have a really slow mid-game, and I'm expecting a really aggressive late game considering how slow No Quarters is playing it. Grimtide's not going to get any audio cues as they push up. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and it's, you know, I always say you attack how you defend, and so this looks a lot like the defense that No Quarters were throwing up, and so maybe Grimtide going to be ready for some of these angles, in particular Mysteries, Reapers on that corner. Whiskey is holding a bit of an interesting one, trying to grab some ankles, scoop up some toes from underneath the cargo crate corner there, but I don't know. Maybe we might not even see anyone go south as the nades come over the top. That one almost connected with Reaper.
Reaper nearly getting caught by 2 separate grenades. He has a guardian angel, this one.
C4 goes.
C-Fire coming out from Ghost, popping the C4 early. That was a really good bait. Don't know if he knew that was there. A little bit of trash talk coming out from the players.
Yeah, they are close enough where, in the game of Onward in particular, you got those open comms, a unique element of this game, but you can talk to your opponent if you're close enough. And seems to be what's going on. But Mystery on the back line, chatting it up with Death, just trying to assess where this team is pushing them from, because with 3:50 on the clock, they really haven't seen much. And kind of makes you wonder, is it going to be a North stack? What's their play? And right now, that's exactly how No Quarters attacked it. Or excuse me, Grimtide attacked.
You have nades on objective to take off any players that are directly playing it. Flash has come out, Mystery in the back, pre-firing, so that this way No Quarters can't make the free capture of the objective, because the objective is currently smoked out by 3 separate smokes.
Yeah, Mystery doing a nice job.
Risky. Ghost almost in position to cap now. Did not get caught by pre-fire. This could be a cap for No Quarter. There we go. Mystery doing a great job. Oh, look at that. And just like that, No Quarters loses their entire push. Now all they have left is the south.
And they did not make it in time or in sync. If this base slap of James Boak push had come out a little earlier, I think we would have seen some serious damage done to this backline, and maybe that cap attempt successful. Instead, the smokes sit and will eventually dissipate. We'll see if Bass is ready as Whiskey tucked into the corner. Not ready for Bass. A nice pickup there. Bass now going to swing and be the only one alive in a 1v4 up against Death, Mystery, Reaper, and Crusader.
Absolutely. So you've got Mystery still holding that back line to cover the cap spot, it seems. Reaper waiting for Base to push into him, refusing to push out. Pretty smart, because he is going to be one of the last few watching objective. Death holding that southern line. With that southern line held, I'm not sure Base can really get any sort of value out of this push.
Flash comes out over the top.
Into Flash. Does not catch Slappa as he's going to take down the Reaper.
1v3. Should have heard Death in the corner on the comms there too, so Base very well could swing to try to pick up this multi-kill. The 1v4 clutch would be huge from Base, but not going to be easy. They hear Death's footsteps too, so they know Death's on the corner. They've got actually a good angle if Death overpeaks this. Oh, and Death trades down.
And it goes to a trade. Where was he indeed? Silent in the shadows, taking it slow.
Well, here we go. It's Arctic, it's map 1, but we're trading rounds already. Back and forth, tied up 1 apiece. Kind of what you'd expect, yeah, right, from 2 teams making their way to this point in the finals. But it is a best of 5, so there's a lot of map ahead of us. I think we haven't talked about the bans, but we do have them coming in from Grimtide as Abandoned in Shipyard, and being banned from No Quarters as Bazaar and Suburbia. What does that indicate to you? To me, it means something, right, with having Bazaar and Suburbia being banned out from No Quarters.
Yeah, it seems to signify that No Quarters does not want to play close quarters.
Yeah.
For lack of a better way to put it. No Quarters showing exactly why. It looks like they like to play low and slow, and on very close range maps, that can be a liability, as players that are aggressive are often, I wouldn't say forgiven, they're get more leniency on close range maps, because that early aggressive push gets a lot of coverage. Normally on a map, if you push out on defense, you get maybe a quarter of the way into the map, but on close range maps, you get about half the map to yourself.
And here we go, a few seconds away from round number 3, and a new objective, switching us over into this corner. This one, an interesting one, a lot like the north corner. You have some, obviously, walls to your back, so a little bit of protection, a little security, a few less angles of entry, but it also does lean to some pretty quick sort of surprise plays that are effective here. So you really got to be sure that you are confident in your on-site defense, but also get out on some aggressive defensive positions like we're seeing from Ghost, and extend out a little bit to try and get some of these early picks, because if you do let this team get close on an objective like this, it can get very risky. You just don't even want them to get within a certain range of the objective here. So Ghost going to be radioing in info. James trying to hit him with that long-range nade early.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, on close range maps, map control is key. If you can push out and be in unexpected positions, that gives you a huge advantage. And No Quarter's doing what I hope to see out of Grimtide, or I expected to see out of Grimtide, which is taking a lot of ground very quickly and then holding that ground cautiously. We'll see Ghost definitely going to be a real thorn in Grimtide's side coming into the mid game. Late game, yeah, like you said, you don't want to see anybody get close to this objective because if they get close to this objective, you can't make it there before they can. I want to remind everybody watching, if you're not familiar, this is a search and destroy style game mode. Once the entire team is killed, you gain a point and or lose a point. However, if that objective is taken over by the offense, that is 2 entire round wins for the attackers. So this can swing very heavily in one team or the other's favor out of nowhere.
Ghost about to be in a little bit of trouble as Crusader advances forward here, and they swing out for one. GT Reaper on the backside tries to take Ghost down with shots on them into the corner, and Ghost tucks in a flashbang over the top that I don't think hit Reaper, and Reaper tries to get Ghost, but Ghost scoops up a double. Looks for three and can't quite find it as Death finally calls them on the front line and is going to try and push forward now onto the attack, but the rest of this defense, there's only one on site. Like I said, you got to be cautious.
Yeah, agreed. Ghost doing some serious work in his position, taking out 2 before going down to Death. Death now in a very strong position against No Quarters. No Quarters has not crashed down to the south side, which means the objective is only being defended by one singular player. That is not where you want to be if you are No Quarters.
Very risky. A good smoke, quick cap, 2 points into the pocket of Grimtide. But you can see a little bit of a rotation, trying to split to a 2-2. They do have that one that can pop out. They're also dropping back for a third on objective, so they're being a little bit more cautious now as the time ticks down. And as mystery is the mystery. Where is this single attacker here on the side? Because that can also be a threat if you do allow the flank to come through. Mystery can be a real, like you said, thorn in the side of this defense. So all about timing and how they sync up. With 3 left, they've got all the time they need. Mystery can't communicate much anymore, considering his position, but we'll see what Death ends up doing. It looks like they might come and reinforce.
Yeah, it looks like he's rotating up to the north side now, giving up on the south side push. Obviously has no idea. Face slapper is going to pick off Mystery on pipes. Here comes Death, just too little too late. I hate to see that. As the south side only had 1 defender, but Grimtide, assuming rightfully so that there would be more defenders on the south side than the north, decides to make a full rotation with their last remaining resources to the north. It does not pan out, however. Now Death has to make it past 4 players.
We've seen 1v2s, 1v3s come through, multi-kills for sure, but that is no small order, and at 1v4 here in front of Death, very little map control, like we've said, a lot of room to work through. And little time to do it. 2 minutes on the clock. It's ticking down.
Yeah, this map being such a small map means time is normally not your enemy. You're going to have a lot of time to make decisions and rotations and plays. Death clearing his corners. Smart decision as he rotates in, but unfortunately, that noise is going to mean that the entire team of No Quarters knows where the last player is. Death has lost his only advantage, which was stealth.
Just try and go for the challenge. Smoke leading away on the backside of base.
Lap on the north side.
Nice little pickup there. No Quarters. Put another on the board. We continue to trade defensive rounds down here on Arctic. And, you know, it feels like we're kind of on a nice edge. At any point, something could happen with these teams, you know, on the offense on Arctic, right? You're so close to caps just out of spawn, and in comparison to a lot of other maps in the game of Onward, this is, like we said, the closest quarters one next to Cargo. So it's an interesting opener, and for No Quarters to be doing how they are with their bans, it makes me wonder where they really do want to go up against this Grimtide squad. Does Grimtide want a little more range on their end? I'm not getting a clear indicator because both teams are so far doing good on their defensive portions.
Yeah, it seems like this is going to come down to trading defensive rounds. which, you know, is tight and close, and it's what you want to see. It means that every team that's made it here has really worked hard to get here, and they belong here because they are really fighting for it. You can tell they really want to make it to World Finals.
Yep, the World Finals, a unique element of Onward. We don't really do in a lot of other games, so if you are tuning in and unfamiliar, this is the NA Finals. EU Finals just happened. Those teams will be battling it out against each other at some point. What is it, next weekend? I think.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see. Either way, the NA Finals, so far so good. 3 rounds in the pocket, and we'll see how this 4th one goes as we get ready to dive into it. Again, thanks for tuning in, stopping by, and enjoying the action. Hit that subscribe button if you are new or haven't hit it already. Maybe you're coming in from Onward and still haven't subscribed to the new VRML Network channel. Well, you should, because Nightfire is telling you to.
If that's not reason enough, I don't know what is.
Crusader.
All right.
Yeah, who's going to lead the charge on defense is the question. Are they going to get pushed out there? I think we saw a little C4 go down. Definitely a strong element to fend off an early push if timed and positioned effectively, but...
Okay, this is interesting. Ghost hanging back way back at where they spawned, holding James Boak's back on the south side, and then heavy push in the north and from no quarters. That is unorthodox, but I'm not against it. They looks like every round they are expecting Grimtide to push out, and Grimtide simply isn't.
They do have a nice geometrical layout, though. Equally spaced across their defensive setup here, covering different angles, different lines, and relatively prepared, it seems. Yeah, it's like they well planned.
If you drew those together, I'm pretty sure that's a constellation somewhere.
It's the Grimtide constellation right now on defense. We'll see. No quarters can put out a couple of stars and work their way through it. 4 minutes 40 on the clock, plenty of time for them to do that. You can hear them active in their comms, still locked in. Obviously, it would be. I mean, I gotta wonder, is Cap even on the mind yet? Have they gotten that confident in themselves? The 2-1 lead, you get that Cap. A 4-1 map 1 victory is one way to get your momentum going in a best of 5.
You know what? That is a fantastic word for the situation. Momentum. Both teams really fighting each other to try and steal whatever momentum they can from the other team. No team really getting far ahead, which is, it seems like that's probably why they're playing so cautious. Neither team really gets a feel for each other just yet. Mystery very tucked in on the north side. I do like that angle as it shuts down nearly everything except for one angle, which Whiskey is currently holding. So as long as Whiskey's up, Mystery's in a really, really strong position. Grimtide's defense on this is absolutely impeccable.
Yeah, it's... I mean, we'll see how impeccable it is because it's about to be pressured by what is a duo working their way up through the middle. I think that could be an effective line of attack. And quite frankly, if they did just kind of stack their efforts down towards this objective, they would obviously have the numbers advantage in the immediate, as Reaper and Crusader patiently waiting and, you know, Death on able to rotate. But, you know, sometimes 3 seconds off of objective is enough for a Cap to go through.
Yeah, at this level, even a couple of seconds, 5 seconds, if you have less than 5 seconds to make it back to the objective, you can lose 2 points before you even know what's going on. I don't expect to see anything less than very fast crash times in this situation, but you never know. James Boak and Ghost in a great position. You know, we're talking about how strong this defense is, but yeah, like you said, once it's pressured, everything changes. To quote Mike Tyson, everybody got a plan until they get punched in the face.
And when is that punch coming in? It seems like it's soon. 2:20 on the clock. They're going to have to throw the left hook here with Base Slappa and Haywire swinging wide. Mystery going to try and block this push. Snobby up through the middle. Smoke's coming in. James Boak and Ghost very likely to make the on-site push. And Reaper, again, really the core defense element here. Crusader goes down. That's bad news. They're going to have to rotate, all while Haywire and Base are swinging in from the side. So GT flies out for one, but they're distracted. Where's the on-site push? Still not quite coming in. That's a beautiful nade right to the toes of GT
Oh my
Reaper.
God, that nade!
We love to see that one. We'll throw it up in the picture-in-picture. Ghost in the smoke trying to push in.
Yes, but Ghost is on objective. That's a cap if he can take it. There goes Death. Reaper swings out.
Oh my! The
grenade!
The crashback, Mystery, Whiskey are here. James on the front line. Snobby trying to swing out. That utility goes over the top. Snobby's here but can't get gun up in time. Whiskey finds that kill. Where's James on the support? There they are. We're into a 1v1.
Holy cow, everything in the span of 48 seconds, boys and girls. James Boak, last up for no quarters. He's on that push. He's in a very strong position, but really unable to push out into Mystery. Mystery has to have his head on a swivel. He's watching at least 3 different angles at once.
Minute left.
And just like that, we're back down to the quiet. This is agonizing. If you are in this position and you're Mystery, what's going through your head right now?
Well, I wonder if they know James is in this alleyway here, in this lane, because they don't seem to be concerned about a flank from their back. They're locked in and dialed in on this front line swing here. So it very much seems like, oh, as I say that, they turn around. And I think they heard footsteps here from James, just a pitter-patter, maybe 1 or 2 of them. As James adjusted, but Mystery is still, they don't have an accurate kill count either. James is going to swing. The timing is everything. The trade goes the way. Wow. Onward gods, give it to Grimtide.
There it is. That literally comes down to an arbitrary decision by the game, too. Oh, that is absolutely to the wire. 22 seconds on the clock left on that round, by the way. Absolutely incredible. I couldn't have asked for a better round. That was excellent. So note that we saw about 3 minutes just of silence, just full radio silence. Neither team really giving any information to the other, just waiting it out. Grimtide, great ability to stay focused. None of them left their posts. Everybody stayed nice and tight. And then when everything went down, everything crumbled all at once, and you saw a full collapse. No quarters doing a great job really executing what they wanted to execute. And then Grimtide's defense, just good, quick responses. Their crash time was impeccable.
You love to see the great utility tossed as well. Again, you know, that whole look again at this nade onto Reaper, but just a long toss from Ghost right to the toes of Reaper. Not a lot of, it forced the res, which is time not covering the push, and I just think if they were synced up a touch more on their rotations in, this could have been a really nice point for no quarters. They could have maybe even had the cap because they just had great map control. So an interesting offensive push at the end of the day, well timed. 22 seconds left on the clock. You know,
It was awesome.
Very tight and well orchestrated, but with a new objective, this one a little bit more dicey in terms of being capped. I gotta wonder if no quarters are feeling the pressure here as we get into round 5.
Yeah, for sure. That is going to be, we're going to see a lot of pushes for specifically behind those white cars, as that is specifically where you'll see a lot of the caps come from. So it'll be interesting to see how no quarters can shut down that final push, because basically you get behind the car, you win.
And they can get there fast.
Yes.
I mean, Death's already here.
Defenders make it to the objective at the same time that the offense makes it. Speaking of which, Ghost and Joe on a trade.
Kills across the board here as Haywire did get shot. Grimtide lose 2, no quarters lose 1. Objective not being capped, so a net positive for the no quarters defense at the end of the day, as Mystery and Whiskey kind of get stalled out, and Crusader maybe losing a little bit of confidence on pushing up and getting forward here. So it's I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see how this works out, because Base is on the corner. It could be a real thorn in the side.
right, James rotating off right when Mystery pushing out. The timing just not lining up. As we're going to see No Quarters currently not defending the Death Alley behind the cars, knowing that Grimtide has not made it close to objective. Base slap full control of the north side, so they know nobody's gotten to rotate on their flank. This is a difficult position to be in if you're Grimtide. Whiskey pushing out into the north.
You can see base over here just so close on the other side. I don't know that Whiskey knows base is still there. It feels like they've lost that info at some point in all of the exchanges, and maybe they're so focused on Snobby they feel that that's the main threat. But base definitely getting details, info. They know Whiskey is just around the corner, so they are ready and waiting for this duo to make their move.
Yeah, audio in this game, very intuitive. Footsteps make noise. The slower you go, the quieter your footsteps, until a point where there's no footsteps at all. And items and objects hitting the ground do make a noise. So Whiskey looting that body will have given away his position to base slap, as he is close enough to hear that. Trade on the north side.
Another trade on the north side.
Another trade.
The cap option.
Yep. Got us both up right there.
Let's say the cap option may be off the table, but right now, where's Haywire? There's an easy rotation for Crusader to come up through the front line, punch that code in.
Down. That's the smoke. That's another smoke. He's pushing. That's it. Yeah. Crusader has a 2-second cap. 1-1000, 2-1000, 3-1000. Pressure's on. 4-1000.
Oh my!
There it is.
2-2 goes 4-2 just like that. And it's Grimtide taking map number 1, and that's got to sting because No Quarters were staring down an opportunity just like this the round before. 2-1 lead, offensive point coming through. They had a nice early push coordinated, but then couldn't string it together. Grimtide, after a defensive hold, then come back with a really nice capable objective and capitalize on it. You don't want to let those opportunities go. And both teams went for their cap opportunity. Grimtide succeeds in locking it in. You can hear the celebration at the end, the surprise almost that they had the opportunity to punch that in.
Yeah, for sure. You could almost see it in the timing of it. Once pushing in, I don't think he expected to be able to make it in there. And neither did the defenders, clearly. Nice surprise cap at the end, and that's all it takes. 5 seconds. If you can't get to the objective in 5 seconds and you're last alive, you've already failed.
Map 2, let's talk about it as we prep things on our side. We are getting ready to dive in to Subway. The bands again, Abandoned and Shipyard by Grimtide. Bazaar and Suburbia by No Quarters. The theory that No Quarters may be wanting to avoid the close quarters, and if that's true, it shows with Arctic going 4-2 to Grimtide. Now we go to another close quarters map. Arguably there's a few longer angles, but still some dangerous objectives, in particular that north stairwell, vulnerable to getting capped, the basement, vulnerable to getting capped. There's just some opportunities where you can put another 2 points on the board if you have the momentum, if you want to go for it, so to speak. So, we'll have to see how that goes on Subway, but I'm curious what you think with these two teams, how this will shake out.
So yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. Subway, another map that's very objective heavy as far as caps go. It's a lot of close quarters. It's a mid-range map for sure, but it doesn't feel like one. The entire map is all close-range engagements aside from 1 or 2 sections. So you're going to see a lot of close quarters combat again, which may favor Grimtide, but No Quarters, a lot of CQB players, they just don't like CQB maps, it seems. Something to do with the timing of it. There's less time to be able to work with. Close quarters maps, you have all the time in the world to push up slowly or take early control. But with a map like Subway, it's going to be close quarters, yes, but getting to positions is going to take a little longer. So you have to be more methodical in the push.
Why have we been saying no quarters?
Why have we been saying no quarters? Oh, I have incorrect information. Oh, God.
I see it in chat. Some folks talking about
Yeah,
it.
wait a minute.
I don't know how we got there.
Oh, wait. Yeah, yeah, Timmy, isn't Timmy...
It's definitely Grimtide versus Mayhem right now.
It is Grimtide versus Mayhem. Okay, yeah. The organizer appears to have been a... Hold on 1 second. I'm going nuts. Yeah, this is definitely Mayhem.
Well, we figured it out after a map at least, you know what I mean?
Yeah, at least we didn't go to the very end. And the winner of Miss America goes to...
Either way, we fixed it now, so everybody can relax and chat. It's a 6-minute delay. You got to give us.
Thank you to everybody in
You got to
chat.
give us.
Yeah.
You got to give me time
It's
to
gonna
fix
be a
things.
bit
Okay,
minutes.
yeah. It's definitely the 6-minute delay's fault. There's no other reason to it. Either way.
So the
well,
players that organized this, the main player that organized it, plays for no quarter, which is where the assumption came from, it seems. But it looks like they were acting for a proxy, so.
Well, let's adjust it on the in-game side as we do get ready to dive into the round, because it is going to be Mayhem on attack and Grimtide on defense for Subway, our second map of the afternoon. Again, appreciate everyone tuning in, hanging out, and enjoying the action here as we do get right into it. Already a early kill. You guys won't see it because this intro needs to play out 'cause it's so cool. But Death getting very aggressive very early on here, as James now going to huck a nade over into the corner. A nice flash. As we do apologize
blind, forced to pre-fire.
for the issues on our side here. Not sure what's going on. Let's try something else. There we go. You guys didn't miss anything but a kill. James on the close corner here, though, trying to fend off Death. And map number 2, again, it's Mayhem. We got to swap teams.
It's going to be a trade coming out as Death is going to call it out to the rest of his team. The rest of Grimtide now has an accurate kill count 4.5 up versus Mayhem's 3.
A nice opener on map number 2 here is Mayhem. Do get ready for their eventual push. 4:15 on the clock, and it's almost it's a double-edged sword. It's really nice actually that Death is dead down there, because they're able to communicate all that information and end up drawing this shooter over to this side to confirm the kill most likely. So Snobby's location going to be given away as well from Death. And again, all information, all data for this team to work with. They know there's one in that stairwell now. Whiskey knows that base is here on the corner, and that's 2 of the 3 remaining that they've got details on.
Yep, 100%. When you have 1 life and each team only has 5 players, every bit of information counts for a ton of value. So even if you go down and you haven't gotten kills, but you've given information to the rest of your team, you have added a significant amount of value depending on where and when you're able to find out that information.
Nade coming in, a smoke.
It's not an objective. You can capture the objective on that corner where Crusader is. Crusader's going to get down by his own C4. Was that a nade?
No, it was a nade tossed by Snobby, a really well-placed one alongside the smoke. As base will
That
res
was gorgeous.
Snobby there. All three are stacked into the stairs here on Mayhem. I gotta wonder if they're trying to open this up with a cap attempt of their own, just to really kick things off in map number 2. But that's a heck of a risk after losing that first map. One goes down. Base gonna follow it up with another smoke.
Now Whiskey forced to pre-fire. He's gonna throw his util. Flash overextends. Nade in a great position, but nobody is gonna be there. Here comes all of the util all at once. Whiskey forced to pre-fire. Wookie throws another smoke in. Noah forced to crash. Here comes more pre-fire. You have no choice if you're Grimtide here. You have to pre-fire in. More util comes out. Catches Whiskey with that nade. Noah and Mystery, the only ones left, and they don't have a direct line of objective because they have to watch their back. One more smoke, and that can be a cap.
Joa knows. Base is in the corner. 2 minutes on the clock. No more smokes. Mystery's pushed out to hold this angle. They're waiting for base to pop up. And they can cover Wookie, but no! Base swings out on the lean. Finds one. Looking for Joa to kick off the double kill here. Joa using that objective as a little bit of cover and almost catches the kill back. In the 1v2, they're trying to stop the cap at this point. They have to prevent it from going in. Wookie may try and crawl their way up to get it, but they'll instead go for the kill. Base finds it, and well, you'll take a point on offense, no less, to kick things off for Mayhem.
Yes, that is actually going to be huge because both teams showing that they like to trade defense rounds. Now taking an offensive round, that is going to be really big for Mayhem as they push in. Note the off angle that that Mayhem was playing. Instead of pushing in on the objective, pushing to that back dark corner and letting the defenders think that they were safe from it and peek the corner instead, giving him 2 kills at the end to close out that round. Very nicely done.
Again, a shout out to everyone tuning in, hanging out, and enjoying the action in chat. We do appreciate you. I see Ketchup, I see Elmo, I see Peas, I see SD, S-Dove VR. Stub? Who knows? But we appreciate you all. Appreciate you all tuning in, hanging out, and enjoying this fine Onward afternoon. The NA Grand Finals here, best of 5 that we are already a map through, and it feels like there. I don't want to say anything because that was definitely an exciting map 1, but that cap means a lot for a team like Grimtide going up against Mayhem. You know, as we reframe sort of our perspective here on this series, because Mayhem definitely a team you would expect to see in the postseason at this position.
Yes, I definitely makes a lot more sense for the final situation. And you've got 2 teams playing at the top of their game very clearly. I'd like to rescind everything I said earlier.
I know. It's okay. No one was. There definitely wasn't 20 people here for the pre-show. Yeah, it's all good. Everything's fine.
It's fine.
Here we go. Into round number 2, map number 2. It's Mayhem. It's GT. They're duking it out in a pretty quick spawn from Grimtide here as James catches a lobbed nade to the back line on a kill.
Almost a second on Crusader. Luckily pushed into the alley as James is going to be real tight up on the corner here. You're going to see a lot of engagements happening in this specific corner of the North Main Street alley.
James is getting aggressive. This is a big risk. The entirety of GT's team here on this alleyway waiting for an overextension. Maybe not so ready. Oh, no!
Oh, no! Oh, you hate to see that. All right, so James making a push cautiously, picks off one. Mystery trying to get that refrag off, accidentally picks off his teammate in the back. You hate to see that, and it's one of those almost unavoidable situations. Look at this, though. James rotating back now on objective. He took technically 2 kills. He got a kill. They have a kill count of -1 on the other team, and he's rotated back to go and bolster the defense on the objective. I like that.
They're locked in. They've got a point lead. James scoops up a kill here on a Joa on the alleyway, and they got the accurate kill count. They're in a 5-2 situation for what could be a 2-0 lead. I mean, heck, they could swing this into a very fast 4-0 map 2 if they find themselves with a cap opportunity in our next objective. We don't know where it's going to be. It could be North Stairs, and if it is, it's going to be a real chance there for Mayhem to be out of map 2 in no time.
Yes, for sure. These maps can go by in the blink of an eye, or they can take the full timer. There's just no way of knowing. Onward is one of those games that has a very fast time to kill, meaning players take 1 or 2 hits and they're gone in an attempt at realism. As James is going to trade with Mystery and leave it down to a 1 versus 4. 3 minutes and 38 on the clock. Whiskey has the option to use every second of that. And on defense, on an objective where you have 3 separate lanes of push, you're not going to know which direction Whiskey is coming from, and so that might give him the advantage he needs to try and pull this 1 versus 4 off, but it is not looking good for Grimtide.
Yeah, this is definitely a hard objective to do this alone as well. You know, there's so many entry points that you can leverage when you do have the extra players to push in from, but you never saw anyone try and go north. They stacked heavy on the south push, and just that early threat ends up being basically the round done and dusted for this GT squad. They just were not ready to be in combat that fast on the corner. Now Whiskey just trying to pillage what he can off of his teammates, and 2:30 on the clock. They block 1 line of sight. They swing for a second, and Snobby ready and waiting on the stairs. Mayhem put a second clean and fast point on the board. 2:30 still left on that clock. And I think that's all because of, again, that early defensive pressure.
Yeah, for sure. Grimtide putting all of their eggs in the North Stairs basket. South Stairs basket. Really pushing up that south side. 4-man strong into Main Street. And simply just collapsing under the pressure from James Boak. Notice it wasn't direct pressure. James didn't actually push the corner. He great use of utility to push the corner for him first, clear out, force the players on Grimtide to sort of play passively, and that gave him the opportunity to slow peek into the corner, get his pick, rotate back. Unfortunately for Grimtide, that 1 pick turning into 2 as we had an accidental team kill.
That definitely stings in the postseason to be shooting your own teammates. And cutting down your opening offensive round advantage like that. But, you know, again, kind of also, I do wonder if at any point Mayhem knew that they were at this advantage, that they had that extra kill, because James only ever saw that he got 1, not that 2 were down. So also little details like that that maybe don't necessarily seem important, but are ones that are really unique to this game. You know, the fact that you don't have a kill count, you don't have a death counter, you don't have, you do have a timer, I suppose, with the watch on your wrist, and you have some semblance of a mini-map with your tablet, but both of those require time to check and ensure are accurate. So it's, you know, again, a little bit of a challenge, but we'll see how we do for round number 3 here as we do get ready to get into it, and we go to the basement for our objective here. I mean, I gotta wonder if Mayhem's thinking cap attempt right now.
Yeah, honestly, if I'm Mayhem right now, in my opinion, I'd buckle down and play safe from here on out. Try and, you know, just keep our round advantage, keep our advantage, and keep it clean. But I'm not Mayhem. I'm not here. So there's a good chance that they're thinking to themselves, okay, let's close it out quickly. Let's keep this momentum, and let's take the objective. If they are doing that, they will have a good amount of opposition on Red Room, colloquially known as Red Room, that south side underground, as they're pushing their way towards what looks like the underground section.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of time before we run into an exchange between the two here, simply because they really have tucked all the way back. What we could see as they fight up through the stairs, Crusader is up on this second floor trying to radio in any information they're hearing underneath them to the rest of the team, kind of being a radar beacon on the front line at the risk of themselves being exposed as well. So, You can hear, again, just information for Mayhem to work with. They know there's a defender up on this top floor, and if anything, they have some sort of assurance that they've got a 4v5 if they all pressed out of this basement down here. So, again, the little details like that are big ones for a top-level team like Mayhem to work off of.
For sure. Crusader is going to be most of the information for Grimtide, as we're going to see pushes into the red room on 3. Snobby pushing out now. Going to be coming into Mystery any second now. Not seeing any defensive encampment set up besides that. Death on the corner. Trying to get those early peeks in. Oh, attention so that Snobby can get picked off by Mystery. Beautifully done. Notice that Death pre-fired specifically so that they'd be looking the wrong direction. Mystery taking down another Ghost goes down. As James Boak is now the only remaining player on Mayhem able to push the south side.
Are they going to send it too? Yeah, they are going to try and get the nade out into the corner. It doesn't catch the kill. A lot invested here.
To watch his forward and his back. This is too many angles to push. As the nade does not catch Death, and he's going to go down to Mystery. Mystery taking 3 on that round. Really tight and tucked in. Tied 5 up on Mayhem. That is not where you want to be if you're Mayhem. Slappa finally getting the refrag on Death, as Death is going to overextend, not realizing another player would be there.
To your end, that is, again, Death doing their job. They are the meat shield, if you will, at the front line of this defensive duo where they're trying to draw the fire and attention of their enemies swinging out of the stairs. To go down like that is appropriate as the defender here, because you already got 3. You're in a 5v2 advantage. You might as well see if you're getting callouts that there's a player down this hallway, if you can find the kill, and if you don't, it's again false information to this duo that's alive. Both Base Slappa and Wookie are assuming now that maybe they've gotten rid of this triple kill monster in the corner, and they may not check their right again. They may anticipate that that is the defender that everyone's been trying to fight here and kind of come in unprepared. So little, again, details like that that can get misconstrued by the enemy. It's all data, all information that Grimtide is conveying. So like you said, really nice job from the duo there. Mayhem now left with 2 themselves. 2v4, not impossible to come back from, especially if they approach it right.
For sure. And this objective, you never know until it's over, which is what makes it so much fun. Couldn't have said it better. That's definitely great value that came out of that south side from Grimtide. Not only taking down 3 players, more than half the team, but solidly getting information about one of the last remaining 2 players, as Whiskey is still going to be controlling this north side stairwell. And that is going to be Crusader taking down Wookie. Oh, sorry, Wookie taking down Crusader.
I know, right? You'd think with the C4 exploding around them that they would have gone down there, but they survive. Joa, is eyes on up through the middle, tucked into the corner. I don't know if Wookie is really prepared for there to be a second, let alone potentially third defender that's going to peek their head up here, because Whiskey is here on the stairs. Base at least taking a safe entry from the overhang there, and I wonder if Wookie's just going to be able to work past Joa undetected at some point.
That is a fantastic question. If Wookie plays this low and slow, he can avoid his sightline, but it does not matter, as Whiskey is going to be on that north side. A lot of crossed angles coming out of Grimtide. Very strong defense, as one person can't see one angle, another person sees it. Ace Slappa made his way all the way around to North Horseshoe. South Horseshoe. Going to be coming out on Joa. Joa checking into the corner at the perfect timing, and that's going to be Base Slappa down.
Grimtide with a pretty clean defensive point on the board there. Put one that they really needed. I mean, again, coming off of a map 1 victory with a cap into an early 2-0 deficit is tough. So a nice defensive point for them here. We'll see what they do on the attack on the same objective. Tough for a cap. It takes the right mixture of sugar and spice to get it just right and nice for that push. So I don't know that they are going to be able to string it together up against a Mayhem defense that's feeling good right now. I feel like this maybe is their pick, for Mayhem's side on Subway, considering how it went for Grimtide on Arctic. This is, again, definitely... It's hard for us to tell out the gate. We can't rely on the stats page we would normally show you because it's already prepped and ready to go for next season. So if you are interested in getting involved in Onward and playing in it, Season 18 already ready to go. I think maybe if we haven't announced a spoiler alert, there might be an announcement about Season 18, but the stats and page is already getting ready for it. So it's exciting times if you are an Onward fan. But yeah, Season 17 NA Finals are what you're tuning into now. And I mean, so far so good, Fire. This has been a nice, exciting back and forth between these two squads.
Couldn't agree more. Great decision making coming from both teams. Really good plays and a lot of really tight moments. Utility has been absolutely and precise. Now remember, like other games, you don't have the option to just line up with a door or a wall and point and click your cursor. This is virtual reality, which means players have to physically throw these objects. So they're getting the muscle memory down to make these throws and get them nearly perfect every time, which is absolutely insane, and I'd expect nothing less from our pros.
Grimtide telling their squad and team to lock it in as I lock it in and get us into round 4 on the cast. Don't want folks staring at my beautiful logo and your wonderful face, Fire Soul, as we do get ready to get into it. Again, that basement push, so an investment being made on the defensive end from Ghost to try and hold off what is going to be an aggressive swing up. Ghost already getting shot at by GT, and it's information for Mayhem to work with.
Yeah, it looks like Ghost immediately noping right out of that situation, rotating back, and just letting Grimtide really have to take their time now. They expect a player to be out there defending, and if there isn't one there and they have to react as though there is, then that invisible player that is no longer there has been burning Grimtide's time. So Ghost is getting value out of this rotate back.
Yeah, and I got to wonder what Snobby's plan is as we take a look at the mid-floor here. Could very well see a long-term investment in a rotation coming in from this player. They could look for that rotation up to the top, go in through the catwalk, try and gain control of angles that normally you don't see a defender in. But that is, of course, a tremendous risk when you're talking about this basement objective, when you're talking about how stacked the basement attack is. All 5 in this bottom floor likely going to try to make their way out through this single point of entry and exit that Ghost is now holding.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely going to be a full commitment choice out of Snobby to rotate up out that south side. Not sure if it's going to pay off. As it turns out, Grimtide has fully committed to the south to underground, which means we're going to see a lot on the shoulders of Ghost specifically when it comes to Mayhem. Base Slap are going to be the only other person on objective. This 5-man push from Grimtide might end up working out beautifully in their favor, unless they take the full 2 minutes. If we get down to 1:40 on the clock, that's enough time for Snobby to make the full rotation behind them. It looks like he's now picking up the pace.
Oh my goodness, a nade C4 triple kill. No, yes. Holy cow, what a absolute monstrous play coming in from the Mayhem defense. That one hurts if you're Grimtide. And look at this, way on the back line, Snobby, and deploying this long rotation where they're very likely to catch the remaining GT duo trying to salvage this disaster here on the corner. And there's no way you're ready for someone to come from where you spawned at this time.
Yeah, no, this is not something you can account for. And that is going to really cost Grimtide dearly if they don't pick up the pace, because they don't realize that they now have a timer, as Snobby is going to be coming up behind them any second now. That's going to be the angle. Snobby should see Crusader. There it goes. As Whiskey is going to push in and commit to base slapper. No choice, no direction but forward. Crusader is going to get fished off. Whiskey by himself. Snobby fully committing to this pincer movement now. James unable to really push into commit with Snobby. I'd like to see some coordination coming out from this double push as Whiskey is currently pincered in position. He cannot go anywhere. No way forward, no way back.
Nice timing from
There
Whiskey.
it is. Snobby goes down.
Takes the confident swing there. They heard the drop back, the sprint back, likely had the back exposed. And a big kill. The 1v2. Definitely something you don't want to be, a position you don't want to be in if you're Mayhem, because this objective gets dangerous if you lose coverage on the basement floor. So now they do have both their defenders invested, James and Wookie, in holding down this bottom floor. But time is also a matter of an issue for this GT squad, for Whiskey in particular, because he's the last one alive. And a 1v2. This nade coming in from Whiskey onto the corner. James is ready and waiting.
Oh, that's going to be the pick coming out from James as Whiskey throws his weapon forward to run up to it. Then here's the footsteps. Just a second too late and has to hide behind the box. No weapon. What an unfortunate end for Grimtide on that round. And overall, a good recovery attempt from the flank. Mayhem seeming really, really strong towards the end of that round, and then suddenly really weak once their flanker went down.
Huge.
That nade to C4.
Yeah, that nade C4, and then I think the kill over the top two for 3 was absolutely tremendous. That puts them in a position, obviously, where you're feeling good, and then at that point, your flank play is a full go, right? Because you know you have a player number advantage. You can rotate players back to objective if you have to, so it's not as risky to invest in what is otherwise a very risky play in the postseason against a team that just capped. You know, I don't know that you just capped again. It's interesting to take that risk on defense from the Mayhem side. Obviously, they're feeling good on this map, and they're at 3-1. New objective on the middle floor might be what they need here on the offense to put up that 4-1 map too.
Yeah, for sure. One of those questionable decisions that if it goes right, it's incredible, and if it goes wrong, it is heartbreaking. I can't wait to see what comes out of the next round. As we get to the platform objective, platform very, very, very susceptible to being capped on. This is, we have a saying personally, I have a saying personally, which is throw this round, don't get capped.
Yeah, Grimtide can't afford it, really, so they gotta play pretty tucked in and disciplined around this objective right now. They're down to their backs against the wall moment for this map. One more point for Mayhem, and they've got themselves an extension on this best of 5. We are guaranteed at least 2 more maps if Mayhem locks in this next round.
For sure. Another thing to note, this is potentially a golden moment. This is kind of the make it or break it moment for Grimtide, because if they can take this round, then they get to play offense on the most likely round for a capture in Subway, in my opinion.
I still feel like I see a lot of caps north. North Stairs, definitely a big
threat. Oh, yeah,
threat.
that's true. North Stairs. I forgot North Stairs exists.
Okay.
Right. North Stairs is also very... That's a very aggro-heavy cap position.
Yes,
this is like so many angles to watch cap position. Both equally scary in their own right. As we have actually pretty reserved push coming from Mayhem, as we have Ghost pushing through Red Room, Wookie following right behind, and Crusader controlling access tunnel. Look at this defense from Grimtide. All 5 corners again, but this time very, very widely spread out.
You know, it's interesting. I feel like there are a lot of long angles you can take to hold down the objective effectively in a map like this. So if you take the right ones and you trust your teammates, then you're fine on coverage. But yeah, maybe a little bit risky at the end of the day if you lose those you lose those defenders on the edge, or quite frankly, right up the middle. It opens up options, you know. So we'll see what this timing looks like on the push. I gotta wonder if they even know Crusader's in the corner right now, considering Crusader is staying very quiet.
Yeah, definitely. As Mayhem pushes in further, they're going to have to really treat every corner like it's hostile because Grimtide giving no information to the offense whatsoever about their location. A lot of very, very strong positions, very surprising positions, as in like when a attacker pushes in, there's a good chance that they get caught with their pants down or caught and surprised.
Ooh, early
So pushing from
C4.
close, early C4.
Yeah.
I hate to see it. Ghost giving the call out. James looks like he got audio, and Ghost being informed that he is to his right, so he knows Crusader is there, or at least suspects it. That's going to be the pre-fire, and Crusader does not care. He's going to pick off Ghost anyway.
Ooh, nice nade. No, doesn't catch Crusader out. James looking for the challenge there. Is going to swing, and they will go in a 1-for-1 up through the middle. Does this force any rotations from the edge defenders? And where is Wookiee in base? Their touch-off objective. Otherwise, is Snobby on a long swing.
Where do you want to rotate to?
And 2:30 on the clock, so we may not see some more action for a little bit out of this trio.
Yeah, it seems so. Really, Crusader getting a lot of work out of that position. Very lucky that there is not a third Mayhem push from that position, as that would be borderline free besides Whiskey on the horseshoe up there. Notice Death has repositioned to be able to watch a little bit more towards objective, which is a great reposition as Wookiee and Slap are pushing up from the underground. Where is Mayhem's final player? Snobby has rotated to do exactly that. Looks like he's pushing his way to access.
And a big shout out to the folks that have been putting in super chats. We've had a bunch of them come in so far. We do appreciate everyone that has contributed. Ketchup coming in with one there just recently, so big shout out again to the folks that are tuning in, and especially the ones that are donating. Let's see if I can see any others. I think there was a few others. Either way, we appreciate anyone that has been contributing in those super chats, and we apologize for missing them. Obviously, we're locked into what is an exciting NA Finals. Mayhem looking to push this to a 1-1 on the series with this offensive point, but GT obviously, like we've been talking about, want to take the second point here, get it to an offensive chance, get it to a point where maybe they get another cap and take map 2.
I think subway train car, middle platform.
This is going to be
Over here on the
onto the wire. 1 minute left as Snobby's going to be pushing and smoking the objective. If I'm Grimtide, I'm watching for an objective crash right now. It looks like they're holding strong. They know if they lose the objective here, it's 2 points, and it doesn't matter. They lose anyway, so they're going for those kills. Death is going to get picked off by Wookiee on the north side. Snobby has a borderline free push to cap, if not for Joa. Joa on the south side.
Yeah, I don't know they're going to be ready for them in that T room. Timing's everything, too. Does Joa push out and cover the right angle there? Snobby takes an early shot. Joa doesn't see them crouch crawling.
Oh, there he goes. And that's going to be the pickoff from Joa as Wookiee knows where the final last player is, but he's going to rush in and get picked in the back from Whiskey on that horseshoe.
We're still in it.
Grimtide's defense holding strong. We're not done yet. Put down the potato chips.
There's no
We're
break.
still in this.
Yeah, you can't leave just yet. You can't take that 5-minute break just yet. It is Grimtide with now an opportunity on this top floor objective for a cap and a map 2 in their pocket, taking it to a series map 3 if they manage to. But it is against Mayhem, and while they did struggle map 1, leave open that big gap in coverage for what was probably a 3-4 second cap at the end of the day, a pretty fast cap coming in from Grimtide, kind of flexing their muscles, their onward muscles there, showing that, yeah, if you give us the opportunity, we're going to take it. And that's, I think, maybe a real message to this Mayhem squad at the end of the day, that in map 1, they got capped on. And, you know, we're seeing I wonder how that's going to play in their mind now, going into this next round where they just need to hold a defensive point to lock in map 2 and extend their lifeline a little bit here in this best of 5. Are they going to be thinking about how GT captain, if there are some fake smokes, is it going to force a false rotation at the end of the day? You know, do they find early picks? How does it all go for Grimtide on offense? We are just a few seconds away from figuring that one out, which is the joy of Onward.
Yeah, that's why we're here. You know, it's what keeps us coming back to it. It seems simple enough, and then you realize that this game can be very unforgiving. Just a couple seconds of losing your focus can mean everything in this game.
Are you going right or left? I'm going to be on the right. I wouldn't go left yet. Because
we're going to see if Mayhem can have the same rock-solid defense Grimtide had in the last round.
Not easy to do, to say. They make it look easy, though, don't they?
They sure do. If you've ever tried this game casually, first off, try it. Welcome to the community. It's super fun. Currently one of my favorite shooters for obvious reasons, personally, and it's a lot harder than it looks. These guys make it look effortless.
Standard offensive rotation up top here. Can lead down into some stairwell control that James will likely challenge. What does the coordination look like and the timing from Grimtide? Certainly they don't go too fast in this moment where if they lose this round, they lose map 2. But they do have a little buffer, so maybe they just kind of do go for it.
Yeah, honestly, this could go either way. Grimtide, in a position where Mayhem expects them to go for cap, they're going to be playing around that. And if Grimtide knows it, they can get into those mental head games of, okay, we'll smoke the objective and maybe go for cap, or we'll smoke the objective and you have to treat it like it's a cap. James pushing out into Death. Death gets a bullet into him but does not confirm. James is going to rotate back to a further back position, not committing to that anymore. On Horseshoe. Quick engagement coming out on Horseshoe. James is fully committed off of it. Gonna leave it to Ghost holding that angle instead.
Smokes are coming out.
Forced to play like there's a player there. Smokes come out on objective.
This is a lot of control for Grimtide right now. They haven't got any kills yet. They're in a very good position overall as Wookie flashes in. Mystery downed on the prone and flashed. Oh my goodness, they stayed prone and in the camouflage while they were flashed until they pop up for the kill. In the meantime, another kill comes through for Grimtide. They're into a 4v3 situation. This is bad news for Mayhem on the defense.
Nade comes out, doesn't catch. His Ghost is going to get him with a pre-fire. Joa goes down. Mystery trying to refrag, can't catch him in the smoke. Joa in position to be quick res. Crusader pushes the smoke off of him. That's the res coming out from Mystery. Ghost trying to put work in, fighting 3 people, fighting the good fight. He's going to rotate in and take out 2. Mystery last up. 5 minimum smokes on objective right now.
Where
Mayhem has to respect this presence. Where is Whiskey? He's on the North Horseshoe stairs. Gonna be too little too late as Crusader's gonna pick off Ghost. He's in position to cap. Snobby stops the cap, clutches it out. Now it's all down to Whiskey, the wild card, playing a position that Mayhem doesn't expect. He's gonna pick off Snobby. It's a 1v1.
If only he had been there 20 seconds earlier, Grimtide would have had this map.
That is succinct and accurate. Unfortunately, had Whiskey been able to clear off that one defender, that would have been a captured objective, and this map would have been over. Now, Grimtide needing to fight out this 1v1 and then an entire another round to take it. Face Slapper knows where Whiskey, his general location is, but doesn't know if he's rotated back up the stairs or if he's pushed underground or if he's right here on the railing. He's going to have to play like he's everywhere at once. He's carefully checking his corners.
2 minutes on the clock. A lot of time for Whiskey to work with. 8 and 3 on the half. Going 9 and 3 for a clutch to take you to that final round overtime. That would be a heck of a way to play out the second map, and definitely will be a lot of momentum for Grim Tide right now. They are close to putting this one in dangerous territory for Mayhem. I don't know that Mayhem were really ready to be down 2 maps, so it could be tough for them at the end of the day.
Yeah, this is going to be important for Grim Tide. It all hinges on this moment for them, whether or not they're going to have to deal with an uphill struggle or an even playing field. As Baselap checking very low and cautiously, ensuring as little of his body is exposed as possible at any given moment. Really just head on a swivel for Whiskey, because Whiskey is going to be the wild card here.
35 seconds. And yeah, Base doesn't need to extend out. They've got time on their side. Certainly a trying thing, to say the least, as Whiskey is going to eventually push. Is Whiskey aware of the time? I don't think they know how much time is left here. 10 seconds.
13 seconds on the clock. Whiskey's burned all of his util to try and kill the last player. Baselap, all he's got to do is not peek. Whiskey's just in the open, fully committed. Free firing. Baselap was having none of it.
Wow.
In fact, going downstairs, he's going to nope right out. See you later. I'm good. I'm going home.
Yeah, we're done with this map, says Mayhem. A 4-2W, and we trade back and forth 2 maps. And quick succession, quite frankly, from both teams. It makes me wonder when we do extend into some longer range maps, which are likely coming up on the table here. We still do have cargo and maybe 1 or 2 others, but we're definitely going to get into a little more range in the near future with map number 3 on the horizon. We are going to cut to a brief intermission while these teams sort out that third map and get ready to get into the action. We do appreciate you all stopping by, hanging out, and tuning in. Hit the subscription button if you can. Thumbs up the stream, and come back in a few minutes for map number 3. welcome back, everybody, to map number 3 of this best of 5 for the Onward Season 17 NA Grand Finals. I have been Nightfire with 2 E's. My co-caster is still Firesoul, as we do get into map number 3. Is this how you expected us to be setting up here, with a 4-2 on both sides, tied with 1 map apiece?
It seems each team knows what they're comfortable on, and they were willing to pick it. So you could definitely tell whose map pick was whose.
Right.
Each team getting a 4-2 on their respective map picks. This has been absolutely incredible. Some great moments, some great situations, and a lot of very round-defining plays have come out. No real round has been sort of like this team's winning, because something happens that is unexpected and seems to just completely flip things on their head, which has been really exciting to watch and been a pleasure to be a part of.
I think EU went 5 maps too, so who knows what we get here on the NA side. As we do, yeah, like we said, guaranteed at least 4 this afternoon here, and I think most of them can be more long-range maps ahead of us here. We kind of got a couple of short-range ones out of the way, and
Multiple garage and -1.
didn't really go to any long-range combat, as Base catches one very early and is going to get ready for a second as Crusaders pushing forward.
That's for sure. Mayhem pushing a player real far off objective. That flash does not catch Base. Crusader's going to push out. Base is going to pre-fire into it. Unable to catch him, swings, and takes another. Ace slapper, shutting down 2 defenders on the east side. That is going to be a big disadvantage for Grimtide. That's their entire flank push gone.
There's another close quarters combat moment about to occur here with Sky Joker tucked in, Reaper pushing forward, very likely not prepared for Sky to still be here. Sky, I think, preps a flash to toss over the top, but they've got to do it quickly if they don't time things right. It's a flash, and it does catch GT.
That was textbook. As Sky has defended Horseshoe and Base defends the east, all that's left is the Ice Lake push. Speaking of, there's the gunfire coming out from Grimtide, so now Mayhem is aware.
-1 bunker, -1.
On cue, Mystery goes down to bulk.
Lima 1.
They know there's only 1 left alive for Grimtide. And yeah.
There's the cleanup.
Mystery trying to cross under the smoke, and Mayhem put up a very clean point. Dare I say, a dangerously clean one. If you're ever to assume a team has momentum right now, it is the fact that this Mayhem squad won 4-2 on Subway, and now a very clean defensive hold, confident with some early kills. I mean, the match clips speak for themselves. Great utility, in particular, from these 2.
Yeah, that's couldn't put it better myself. That's exactly how this went. It was commanding. Not a single player went down on the Mayhem side. If you're Grimtide, what are you thinking right now? Your main goal right now, get momentum back, and how are you doing it?
That time to ask me a question,
I make a great waiter, by the way. I'm really good at walking up to people at tables and just making sure, like, they got a mouthful. All right, how was your meal? All right. Yes, if I'm Grimtide right now, I'm considering, okay, every one of our pushes has failed, and at the moment, what we need to be doing is breaking through. Mayhem pushing out very wide, very confident, but not committing to any one or the other. So Grimtide really needs to make a really strong and effective push on one side or the other, really isolate a side of the map and break through. Because as it currently stands, it appears Grimtide having trouble getting past Mayhem defenses.
Yeah, and curious if Mayhem's going to opt for an aggressive swing in, a cap attempt here. Maybe they want to really pile on. I mean, again, the 2-0 lead is a pretty rough thing to work against if you're Grim Tide, so even just taking this point for Mayhem is solid. The south spawn is interesting, though, and frankly, if played aggressively, could lead to some cap opportunities, because you can really smoke the objective well and swing that corner and be right on top of the OBJ.
Absolutely. That is going to be something to watch out for as we push into the late game. Note that Grimtide pushing Whiskey out much the same way Mayhem did with base. Always a strong, solid position to be in. My predictions for this round, it's going to come down to Reaper.
Quick, -1.
Mystery. Oh, I didn't see Mystery back there. Mystery taking out Sky Joker from the sandboxes. Never mind. It looks like Grimtide, fortunately, does have a strong defense for this situation.
Yeah, and Mystery, that nade coming awfully close, but not connecting. And what does the offense for Mayhem look like now? I imagine it's pretty stalled out from what was going to be a fast south swing. To lose one early like that to Mystery and now have their spawn identified and essentially collapsed on. You can see on the overhead we've got another defender shifting over to the south here to stack it up, and not a single player looking over to that rock hillside anymore. Even your far southeast defender angling and looking back towards the objective down through this long lane. So this Grimtide squad very ready for Mayhem on their offensive rollout here.
Yeah, absolutely. You said it before, information is pivotal. Notice that the second that the call out came out on which spawn it was, every other player on the east side of the map shifted positions, shifted mentalities, and now all that advantage that Mayhem had is gone.
They are getting given a lot of ground still, though. You're seeing on the overhead Mayhem able to work up closer to objective, relatively uncontested. We got to be wondering where Mystery is. Mystery is a mystery at this point. I don't think Snobby.
Which Mystery now pushing up onto the tank.
No.
And he's going to pick off Snobby. James to his right, stuck in position as he's going to have to cross past Reaper's line of sight. Oh, no, Reaper has rotated back to cover Mystery. So James is going to be able to push out uncontested. Side note for, actually, hold on. Hold the phone. 3. James and Mystery just ever so slightly. Mystery, no idea he just courted death.
Right. Dodging a nade right behind them as well. Reaper on the overwatch, and now the duo going to cover both lanes around this hill here. Mystery repeaking could be very dangerous, all things considered. This is a dialed-in Mayhem squad still up a point, and James looking for this pick on the corner. Mystery not going to be ready for James to be there already, and that's a big kill. Mayhem now into a 3-3 in control of the south. Slowly going their way, while the north is pinching in.
Yeah, it appears Grimtide having a big advantage in the south, knowing this information, and then choosing not to do anything with it and really, like, I want to say, force Mayhem into committing to the south. Has given Mayhem time to just really stop, gain some ground, figure out what they're doing next, and then make an actually strong push. And Grimtide does not seem to have adapted to it well enough. I'm not going to say at all, because they've made some really good repositions. He slap up in the north side, now making it in. Going to be a problem soon for Crusader on objective. As Reaper, it all comes down to him on this south side.
I think this could be a dangerous threat to a cap, quite frankly. If they draw Reaper's attention enough and they kill Crusader on objective from the north, could very well see that push in result in a cap. James on a long rotation. An interesting smoke that doesn't quite land where I think they wanted it to. Ghost could have afforded that to be a little bit more on the corner and not up on the hill.
Yeah, for sure. This rotation from James takes roughly 30 seconds, and they only had a minute left on the clock, which means he's going to get in at the very last minute to be able to make a push in, which I'm not against this rotation. It's a fantastic rotation. M203 comes out from James to clear out anybody on the sandbags. Crusader will have heard it. Here comes the coordinated push from Mayhem. I love the timing of this. Look at this. 30 seconds on the clock. Everybody's heard it on their watches. Reaper has to give up the south side and commit to help. And he's going to get picked off in the back. Whiskey's going to take out James, but James already did his job. Ghost, last man alive, as Crusader's going to take out Base Slapper. Base Slapper was their final grace. Ghost, 8 seconds
5
to
seconds.
take the objective.
No
Five,
way. They're
4, 3, 2, Ghost. Oh, he's going to do it with a nade.
Wow, the nade from Whiskey. Time would have won them the round, but the nade from downtown is certainly one way to lock it in. You can see the arms go up from them, and we're tied 1-1 in map number 2. A dangerous round there.
That couldn't have been more to the wire, and I'm all for it. I'm here for it. Grimtide really playing with, really courting death on that one in so many ways, as their last defender ended up being more than 5 seconds from objective, throws the grenade absolutely pinpoint onto objective to stop the cap should it happen. If Mayhem had access to 10 more seconds, if they had done everything maybe 10 seconds sooner,
Yep.
that would have been way more in their favor.
That was very close at the end of the day, and a little bit too close, dare I say. We get to a close quarters objective, speaking of, for our second OBJ here of the afternoon. We're not going to stay outdoors for all of the rounds like we did last weekend, I think, or maybe yesterday? No, last weekend. The randomness of Snow Peak rearing its head right here, and definitely going to go to some close quarters combat for round number 3. The kill box of death, whatever you want to call it, certainly is a volatile place. And I don't know. I don't know if Grimtide are going to be really thinking cap right now on an objective like this.
Yeah, this is named by the community kill box. It is a box of death. There are 4 ways in, one of which splits off and goes from one way. And essentially, if you control the inside, you control the objective. Marsok's job is going to be to push inside. Once inside, they're going to have to clear off usually a horde of defenders, as most teams know better than to push way off of this objective. Maybe having 1 or 2 players push off is for information, but usually you want to keep it real tight and controlled in this objective. Speaking of Jerp, on that early push, as Grimtide's going to get the quicker of the spawns to get to the objective faster. And James Boak has full committed to the east side push into the south. He's going to be coming up the flank in the late game. That's going to be one to watch out for.
I mean, 40 seconds they'll be on the flank, but that could be all the time they need. You can see on the overhead this rotation coming in, the trio working their way quickly up along the north side. Like you said, fast spawn, not exactly conducive to this long flank from James, but it is coming in. Reaper may hear it, matter of fact, because James is swinging wide and Reaper is still tucked into this defilade, so James very likely not going to see Reaper. Reaper could hear this rotation. It could be a big moment for Grimtide to fend off this swing from James Boak.
Time. as James is going to rotate into Reaper any second now. He's going to pass right by him. He is. Has no idea he's there. He's still committing to that full flank, which means Reaper might be in a position to catch James in the back when he gets into position. The entirety of Grimtide really taking their time on the north mountainside, which is exactly what James is going to want. There's the angle on Whiskey. He's holding trigger discipline. He wants more than just one kill. All right, he's committed. He's accepted that I'm just going to get the one kill. I'm going to take what I got.
-1, -1.
Such a risky move. Now is sort of the indicator. Let's go forward on the offense. We've got one behind us. As James, again, a threat here. They know that they've got the 4v4 at least in front of them if they do decide to push into objective.
He's at the
Yeah, that's another thing is it changes your mentality. Having James there forces them to watch their back, sure. But it also means that Mayhem,
He's dead, got him.
there it is, he goes down. Mayhem can't capitalize on that unless they commit to swinging out, which is just unnecessarily risky on this objective. So they're not going to do it, which means James really pulls aggro, but doesn't really get more than a kill out of it.
Maiden flash right here.
Very risky play, but honestly, absolutely beautiful. And it's those kind of out-of-pocket plays that tend to shake up teams and get them surprised. And sometimes they can help you run away with the round.
If you're Grimtide, you can really use what they just did as a lot of data, right? You can assume, very rare, that they're going to put a second outside flanker, rotator, attacker as Sky Joker shuts down Jerp, just kind of soloing their way in through the front door. And you can assume then that everyone else is stacked up inside on objective, but they still need to coordinate their efforts on pushing this. They need to get the right smokes in the right place, as Reaper does work their way in. A nice nade toss to the back line. Sky Joker rotated in time to avoid that threat. Reaper catches the kill through the smoke, and now things get chaotic. Base finds two on the other entry point, and suddenly Reaper's alone in a 1v3.
Absolutely beautiful use of the Molotov from Base Slappa as he's forced the aggressor to push into the wrong corner. Mayhem going to take the round as Base Slappa goes outside to finish it off.
Definitely a nice defensive hold from them, but it does have me wondering what their plan is now on the offense. Grimtide have been doing well to just trade rounds against Mayhem today. They're not afraid to sort of go defense for defensive exchange here, so Grimtide now going to the kill box. They're going to have to show off secret strategies that they have, because that certainly was a unique one from James to send for that full rotation. It's, like you said, a very big commitment early in a round.
Yeah, to commit a full body when you know that the easy safe play is to have all your bodies on objective is not unheard of, but to that degree, to circumvent what is quite literally more than half the map. He's circled the entirety of the mid lane to make that push. Got a free pick off of it. Great trigger discipline, I do want to admit though. Holding off, seeing that easy kill and waiting to get at least one more, and then finally just accepting just the one. I think had he gotten 2 kills, it would have been worth much more.
Yeah.
But honestly, great for really shaking up the other team and getting them confused.
Ooh. We're into the thick of it. If you are just tuning in, third map of a best of 5. We're coming near the end of this third map. It'll decide who is taking it to series point next map. An exciting time. And if we're going to go to a 5th. A lot of questions yet to be answered. Yeah, you've certainly come in at a solid time as we get ready to answer some questions of our own, like who will take round 4? Is Mayhem going to go for a cap? Where did they spawn? It's close.
Oh, they got the quick spawn. Okay. Let's see. Oh no, is Crusader doing the same thing James did? It looks like it. Oh, I hope it's not. We do have a heavy push out coming out from Jerp to the Heskos.
Uh-oh.
He's going to be running right into the other team.
-1.
I have no words.
Not prepared, I think, is one that comes to mind for me. Not ready for that fast spawn on their corner, and Mayhem into a very quick advantage on their offensive round on a map where you really don't want to hand the early advantage to the offense. It makes it so you lose coverage of one of 4 doors that you need to cover, and even now they don't necessarily have all 4 doors locked down, so it's well, a moment at least for Mayhem to find more points potentially. I don't know that cap is on the table, but it could be. I mean, possible to cap on this objective is just a heck of a challenge. Everything's got to be just right, and if you have enough utility, maybe.
Yeah, it's caps on this objective. It comes down to smokes in a dream, and I don't see it happening, but I've seen crazier things happen. It's going to be a lot harder for Grimtide. It doesn't seem like a big loss, but losing that body out there is really going to give Mayhem all the time in the world that they want to just get into position. Grimtide does gain information, though. I will say they do know that Mayhem has quick spawn, as the other 3 spawns don't get an angle on that position quite that soon.
Yeah, and like I said, in a very similar way, if you're Mayhem, you could assume that Grimtide have invested all they're going to invest in an outside aggressor, because you've already found that early pick on that outside aggressor. So it does leave you with data to work with, and very curious at what point they're going to say, hey, okay, no one else is on the outside. We're clear. Let's start this push, because time is ticking. 3:30 on the clock for them to start their entry.
That is going to be a really beautifully placed M203 taking out Mystery in the far left corner. James able to finish off the kill. Grimtide down 3-5 as we take our engagement inside. 1.
Advancing the smokes in.
Smoke out beautifully.
Yeah, inside smokes is dangerous as James tries to clear out some positions here. Grimtide down to 3 on site on defense as Reaper and Whiskey got to hold things down. Where's Crusader in all of this as well? I don't see them rotating, moving. Hopefully they didn't disconnect. They're holding down their angle. They're trusting that someone's going to come pushing from that side, and it's an opportunity for Mayhem to cap, but they're not quite seizing it. They don't know that they've got this weak coverage on site, so to speak.
Right. As far as Mayhem knows, Grimtide has lost too many bodies, and everybody has full committed to the objective, and they're playing as such, which at this level you just have to do. These pros really showing their discipline, ironically in a situation where maybe less discipline would have gotten them in a better position, as Reaper's holding a really powerful angle on the south side door, nearly catching Ghost as he peeks around. Snobby's treating him as though he's in what is a more common spot right around the corner on the boxes.
He's on the
However,
big boxes.
There goes Crusader on the rotate back. He's finally given up on his position. Accepts that Mayhem is coming from the outside as Whiskey, one-man army. He's shutting down 2 entrances out of the 4.
Yeah, and I gotta wonder why Sky hasn't tried to make their way through that other one, because they definitely could be hitting it from more than just the 2 front that they're hitting it from now. As that nade gets tossed to the back line, Reaper gets zoned off what would have been that front line defensive position. Whiskey trying to rotate right into James' line of sight. No, James is blinded in the smoke. Whiskey finds one. James finally catches the kill. Crusaders on the back line. Where's the cap? It's nowhere. Mayhem just takes the point. 2 left alive. 3-1.
Man, there's no other way to say it. That was probably best case scenario for the defense.
Serious.
was just getting kicked off there.
Yeah, I got to agree with you on that. That could have been, well, map 3 done in a very fast rate, right? We're still on track as Mayhem are going to go to another inside objective in the mountain to defend. But 3-1, I mean, we've seen GT bring it pretty close again. They've won 3-1 rounds before, so definitely not going to count them out. But to cap on this objective is definitely a challenge.
Yeah, it requires capping on this objective is not unheard of, but it requires a significant amount of coordination from your team. There are 5 entrances in, 6 if you count the side entrance, but it's an offshoot. And the only real way to get this objective is if you either full commit to one singular entrance or you commit to 2 entrances that are across from each other. A necessity for nearly every cap spot besides on boxes.
Yeah, and I wonder how Grimtide will play. They've been doing, well, they did good on Arctic, winning that map 4-2. If you're to kind of attach close quarters combat and success with a team, then you could certainly do that with Grimtide in this series, because they have been playing well in the close quarters. So for them to get a second chance at another close quarters objective is definitely nice. And if you think about it, a few less flank opportunities presenting themselves here. In some cases, I suppose you could take very big risks on defense like we've seen James take. Maybe we will see another flank come in.
Yeah, that's succinct, you know. We've got a lot of very wide, aggressive flanks and very committed plays coming out of both teams so far this match, and it has been exciting to watch and terrifying at the same time, because those are risky.
Sky Joker deploying a landmine, if you will, in Sin, that if they shoot or deploy, hit with a nade, will sort of detonate and trigger a blocker for any team that wants to advance through it.
Yeah, those there's been really good Molotov placements so far as well from both teams. Really using it to shut down a lane, and then instead of just letting it shut down the lane for time, they've been using it to aggress another lane in the hopes of kind of forcing one team to lock themselves into a kill corridor, so to speak.
Yet again, James on the committed and aggressive flank, and you can see on the overhead they're starting to learn from Grimtide. They're preparing for this scenario now as Reaper is waiting, or was waiting, for the flank, and it now has dropped off of the flank. The timing is everything.
You jinxed it. Here comes James up the south side flank. There's going to be 3 players on Grimtide completely unawares. And the worst part about it is this is snow, which means no footstep audio. James gets his pick, satisfied with his pick, and he's going to rotate right back. I love this. He's not... Oh, I take it back. I was going to say he's not committing to it and going back and taking his free kill. But he's actually going to reposition for a new angle and potentially pick Downpour here, so this might work out in his favor.
Downpour seems a little keyed into the threat.
Yep, for sure. See, that's what I was hoping. I was hoping James would rotate back into the east side and Downpour would be stuck wasting time looking for a ghost. Instead, fully committing to see if he can get another pick. He is off objective. That's risky for Mayhem. Downpour on a hunt for James. He's not going to get him. James takes 2 and base takes 1 on the objective. Just like that, Grimtide down to 2.
Yeah, Crusader is here fighting Sky Joker. Blinded in the smoke and blocked by that Molotov. They cannot advance forward. Snobby swings out down the close hallway, catches the kill. Mystery is alone, and Mayhem Lock in map number 3 very quickly. 4-1. And they're in a rush to the NA Grand Finals Championship at this pace. They're going to take it to series map, next map, but talk to me about that performance there on Snowpeak.
I just genuinely so much advantage positions coming out for Mayhem. Notice that they had every engagement that came in on Horseshoe went their favor, especially since most of the players that were making that solid push to the objective had to slow down with that really committed flank coming out from James, forcing the entirety of Grimtide to watch their back, so to speak. And it's kind of hard to watch where you're going when you're looking behind you. What an insane round.
Utility definitely, again, king in this series. Aggression with both Base and James getting those forward kills early. Exciting, to say the least. And yeah, map 3, a good one for us to be working towards what I feel like is a momentum that Mayhem are really riding now. They lost map 1 off of a cap, so maybe not necessarily indicative of how they're going to play the series, you know, because caps can sometimes seem lucky. Obviously, at this stage, not really that lucky. You know, you're capitalizing on sometimes mistakes from your opponent, but it takes skill to be able to lock in points against these teams. Against Mayhem, to take a map with a cap is huge. On Arctic, it's insane if you really think about it. But for them now, it feels like Mayhem's got clean control. 4-2, 4-1. We go to Quarantine for map number 4. And how do you feel about this? Do you think this is going to be Grimtide's map to keep this to a 5th map?
So, Grimtide, showing that they're very adept at going for the cap. That's going to be really helpful on this map, as this is a very, a lot of the capture points, all the objectives on this map are hidden, as in there are many places to capture them from that are hidden from one angle or the other. That could play in their favor. However, Mayhem really showing that they're great at these long-range, long-distance maps. This is Grimtide's pick, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think that's how it's been going so far.
Okay.
So
yeah, they might be trying to capitalize on those caps. They're trying to steal momentum away.
Yeah, it's a gamble for sure on Quarantine with so many objective positions. You're not really guaranteed you're going to get one of those that's got that cap vulnerability, you know. Fortunately, if we are to look at where we're going for Quarantine here on map number 1.
This is one of those.
Yeah, it certainly is one. But it's still Quarantine, one of my favorites just because of all of those different cap positions. This map, probably the best test of a team's skill. And so it's quite fitting that we're here in map number 4 to test these top 2 teams in North America. And, apologies on that. Well, technical hiccup, but no worries. We are into map number 4 in this best of 5 Mayhem versus Grimtide. Mayhem on the attack, GT on the defense. Is this what GT wanted? To be going right into this objective and defend a capable OBJ? Because what a way for Mayhem to get things rolling if they were to open this up with a cap in map 4.
For sure. We're talking about momentum and morale. This would be devastating to lose a cap on for Grimtide when you're desperately trying to scavenge up that momentum and that speed. It looks like Mayhem getting the worst of the 3 spawns.
Yeah, it's going to take him a while.
As Whiskey is going to be pushing up into James Boak's angle in a second. James Boak holding from Motel. he's going to be surveying the area, exposed, but he's got a lot of good angles that he can peek from there. See if that works out in his favor.
Death definitely not watching for what is going to be an eventual peek out from Ghost, but his timing going to be right.
I don't see white car right now. Use the turn to your advantage if you can get up to like
So close to peeking it, but Death's still alive. Maybe an off-meta position that this Mayhem squad not really anticipating. Ghost eventually, there it is.
There we go.
Jesus Christ.
Could not have said it better myself. Sorry. I lost my composure there for a
I
second.
agree with you. -1 on the tractor. Finally, as now the rest of the team able to move, but not quite freely. Crusader's still here.
For sure. Ghost giving out great call outs to the rest of the team, really giving as much information and knowledge as possible, and he's going to pick off Crusader.
Whoa, this is a heck of an offensive opener. And like I said, if you're Grim Tide, not where you want to be. In a position where you have a very capable objective.
And I didn't catch it, darn it. Sky Joker is going to take out Whiskey as he rotates up to the front of the plane. Here comes Ghost. Straight to the objective, uncontested. Mystery has to crash and commit. No choice in the matter. He's going to push up into Sky Joker. Sky Joker's going to get that angle on him first. That's it. It's just downpour 11. He has to crash to the objective and just be in the way.
Very nice job. Well done. Good job, guys.
You can hear the comms. Mayhem is locked in. Oh, apologies on that wrong point. We had the teams on the wrong side there. We'll go ahead and swap those on our end. Get things correct, as again, it is Mayhem taking this early point. Oops. Go, there it is. There it is. And a solid offensive opener. Again, Quarantine, a true test of a team's coordination. And if you're ever to wonder what team is coordinated, it's going to be Mayhem, a team that historically has been at the top of Onward, of VRML. Names that have been around since for years. You know, you're talking sometimes 8 years of playing this game. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of games outside of let alone VR that are flat that you play in 2D that you play for 8 years. You know what I mean? Like, those are very committed players at the end of the day to a game that they truly do love, and they're showing their coordination on a map like that very well. 2 early picks, great comms, instantly pushing up to objective and overwhelming the on-site defense. It's textbook stuff at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This has been a fantastic showing for Mayhem. Really just getting to do what they do best. And to the detriment of their opponents who have been playing functionally very well, but just struggling to get that momentum against them.
Whew. We're into it. Map number 4. Mayhem in the lead. GT about to go on the attack for round number 2 here on this tough to defend objective. Honestly, it always has been. Very capable, vulnerable to sneaky maneuvers and plays under smoke. And at the end of the day, you got to watch every angle. You can't afford for a south flank to connect and come to fruition. You can't afford for somebody to get control of the rooftop and have the line of sight down into the back of your OBJ. So it forces you to spread out in a map that, in an objective that really punishes getting spread out. So how will Mayhem defend? That's what we're here to find out. We'll see what that looks like from them on their upcoming defensive portion. But I imagine it'll be a little bit more tucked in. I don't think you'll. I mean, maybe James will go for a south flank actually.
You know what? Yeah, he's making a name for himself as a flanker today, it seems. Honestly, I expect something out of pocket coming from Mayhem on this round. I don't know why. It's just a gut feeling. I do think that you only get so many freebies before you finally get punished for it. So I hope this isn't the time. But if there was a time that Grimtide really wanted to be able to capitalize on one player being way off objective, this would be the time.
Speaking of, taking the full time between rounds here, as GT maybe start to feel a little bit of the pressure. I don't know if we're allowed mid game timeouts, but it would be interesting.
Yeah, normally I'll double check for that. This might be a good time to take a second and thank our sponsors and appreciate everybody that out there that keeps us going and keeps us coming back here for more and these enjoyable matches that everybody puts so much time and work and energy into. Thank you to everybody that organizes these and gets these going, and thank you to our lovely sponsors.
Yeah, we do appreciate everyone. ProTube, our longest sponsor. I've got a custom VRML 2025 stock in the apartment right now. A wonderful contribution they made to VRML and our longest sponsor. They've been around since the start with Onward. We really do appreciate them. Here we go, round numero dos in map 4, with again Mayhem on the defense. But interesting, you know, that full time taken. GT got to be feeling the pressure right now.
Yeah, for sure. They're really, they got a game plan that they want to get together, and they're committing to it. Did I just see a weapon drop at the start? Is he not going back for it, or is it just a setup? It's just a setup, okay. As Death is going to get the early line coming from the dunes. Quick sand spawn from Grimtide.
Nice opener. Yeah, and this is one of the potential routes you got to be aware of. Obviously, north worked well for Mayhem, but Grimtide now getting south spawn and kind of barreling on in for a very early kill. Snobby going to be the front line of the south defense here.
Got scared for a sec. I saw Base Slapper in the north, and I was like, oh god, is that James going for another flank? No, it's just Base. As Grimtide taking full control of Hospital, and it looks like they're just going to play it safe from there and wait till they get a pick or two more. Not a bad play. Capitalizing off that early pick and not losing bodies is effective. It is going to give Mayhem time to reposition and adapt to the new knowledge that they've gained.
Or 40. A lot of time. And like we said, Grim time. Yeah, going to use it. Take their time, take it slow. No need to rush into an early advantage. Well, that's a good nade.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. That's a great nade.
Real well tossed. And Snobby's down, Resable. Going to take a heck of an investment on the defensive end for that to happen. James may go for it, but they'll end up putting themselves in danger.
He tries to get the follow-up nade or just a clear car. Can't tell you which one it is. Either way, it's a good choice. As Death is going to pick off Boke. All right. Mayhem. 2 players left. Grimtide, 5 up, full control. This looks like a Death sniper squad over here in the hospital.
And if you are the final 2 defenders here, you kind of gotta be out and aggressive. You almost want to go down instead of having the cap come in.
Point for sure. 1 player left on Mayhem, and he is in the open, crossing the road, trying to get to the objective as fast as he can. That was best case scenario for Mayhem, honestly. Grimtide, if they'd wanted to, could have sprinted clear across the road and capped.
Now it's Grimtide's winning card as they take the offensive point. But a wonderful bounce back. We go to the north. Really hard objective to cap on. Historically defensive sided. And they could take 2 points in a row, which is a nice momentum shift.
Yes, for sure. This is going to be, it's too wide open to really make any sort of plays. This is a pick your opponents off type objective. Both teams are really going to have to show their prowess with their long range sniping abilities, as they're going to have to pick each other off across a wide open plane and check every little corner and every wall.
Oh, it's the versatility of quarantine rearing its head with a incredibly tight, dangerous defensive round, an objective into a long range or a methodical defensive objective where it's likely going to take a lot of time for these teams to get into the positions they want to be in. I mean, heck, sometimes you spawn on the east and you want to rotate all the way to the south to get to the west side for the approach from that angle. So it really could take an entire round until the offense is set up to push.
Yeah, for sure. You're going to see, we're probably going to use the entirety of our 6-minute timer on this objective. As we're getting into it, here we go.
Shout out to everyone tuning in. Thank you again. Please hit the thumbs up button. Helps the algorithm, gets this in front of more folks. And subscribe to the channel if you're just tuning in. VRML Network is about to explode this year with a lot of content for the back half of your 2025. Coming off of a fantastic convention in Phoenix, Arizona. There's a lot to look forward to in the VRML, so stick around for a lot of esports action. In particular, these rounds right now. Tied 2-2. Ghost opens it up, catches Mystery trying to rotate. That's a rare early snipe going into the way of the offense.
It is. The angle that Ghost was at, so far away, manages to get that pick. That is astounding and really fortunate for Mayhem. And if you're Grimtide, it is mixed feelings, because now you know the direction they're going to be coming from and how long it's going to take them to reposition. But you do not want to lose bodies on this objective.
This would be a moment where if we were watching at VRML Con, you would see Ghost actually lying on the floor on the stage. A really fun moment.
Yeah, it is very interesting to actually physically see.
But we're online for this one, so we don't get to see Ghost in real life. We see them slowly inching their way across the floor in the game, trying to catch out this second defender, Crusader, who's tucked in way on the back line there on the other side of the rock. Ghost definitely going to be a threat in due time if Crusader does decide to peek down this lane.
It's me. I'm watching. I'm still watching North. I'm watching.
Crusader, is he holding this line? Is he still actively watching it, or is he going back and forth here?
They're holding like a one-eye angle. They have their left eye on a corner that they're waiting for Ghost to cross over as Joa catches James up through the middle. Pretty aggressive position on top of this roof to be taking, but one that pays off.
It ends up working out for him. Now, is he going to take that money and run, or is he going to stick around and get greedy for another? Both options have the option to work out for him, but you never know till you know,
Ghost could find out soon.
Time.
Ooh, they managed to cross. You can hear Ghost calling out the time. I wonder if Crusaders saw that cross there. I think they did, as Death catches Sky. Another goes down up through the middle. A couple of rough losses there on the setup.
Yeah, looks like Mayhem getting that early kill was great, but
A, -1 north.
Darn it. Crusader distracted me from Ghost, and then Ghost distracted me from Crusader. Both fantastic long-range picks, really putting Grimtide at the advantage here. Those patient, low, careful peaks seem to be what's getting the job done on this objective. Mayhem
He's
really just unable to
already
clear
out. He's literally went to the
every
right
situation.
gas station sign.
Now pushing at a major disadvantage, 2 versus 4. With 2 minutes on the clock and a long ways to the objective. And yet, there is still always a possibility.
Mm-hmm. They really got to start committing to that advancement towards OBJ, though.
Yeah, 2 minutes on the clock is not a lot of time. You have to be running to get there in maybe a minute. If you're slow walking, it's going to take the full 2 minutes. You might not make there in time. Joa still on top of AC. Right, that's going to be the call out. Joa still manages to... Oh, wow. Joa peeks out and takes him out anyway. Whiskey finishing off the other from rebar. That is insane. Commanding control of that objective from Grimtide. What do you think?
Yeah, really nice job on the defense. Like we said, a defensive side at OBJ, so beneficial to go from offensive win to defensive transition favored objective. You know, like they're 2 rounds in a row right now, so they're looking good. They're in a good spot. They need the momentum on this map. Obviously, it's Mayhem's series point right now. If they win, they are the NA Grand Finalists. They advance on to that World Finals. But if they lose, obviously we go to a 5th map, which is on the table at this stage with how GT are playing up to 1. Could very well be going the full distance this afternoon, as they say, in this best of 5. So appreciate everybody that is here tuning in and has stuck around for what is a pretty solid NA Grand Finals, one that you would hope for sure, and one that we're happy to be here with, and one that we're happy to share with you at home. We've had a couple of super chats come through, so we do appreciate all of that.
Hey guys.
The donations coming in, thank you so much for that support. It does mean a lot to us here at the VRML. And enough yapping, we're ready to go. Round 4 with Grimtide attacking and Mayhem defending the north.
All right, looks like Grimtide got the AC spawn. Curious to see how they play it. Obviously, they've shown a lot of love for that building. All right, full commit wide into the west. We are going to push across to hold back at AC to get picks. Not against it. The defenders, however, seem to have committed very heavily into the west, so that might go more in favor of Mayhem.
Yeah, base running into the first of many attackers. Good opening kill from base, though. Joa is trying to get up here. I think that flash connects as Joa. Yeah, this would have been a great push for the cap on the last objective, but now it's a little late. Sky Joker here in the basement.
Yep, so Joa is going to be running into Sky Joker any minute now. Mystery's going to take out Base Slapper. There goes the nade from Sky Joker. Joa just continuing to slow walk with a live grenade behind him. Could not full commit and could not run away into the nade. Had no choice. As Miyagi say, one side road safe, middle road squish like bug.
Yeah, and James getting aggressive again on the Mayhem side, even on an objective where really you don't need to be getting aggressive. James is pushing for it here up through the middle.
Yeah, Mayhem getting confident. We'll see if it's been helping them on the last couple maps. We'll see if that helps them here. Really pushing up without concern for, at the bare minimum, getting their trades. As Mystery is continuing to commit to this west side push, and Mayhem has repositioned their players for a more universal defense.
Whiskey looking for some action, won't find it because of that reposition. They definitely got control of the west, and that's where I think Grimtide are going to focus their efforts.
Nice one,
For sure. Mystery picking up Oak. They have solid control of the west side finally, save for one defender really deep in their ranks. But they have 3 bodies left to do it with. Are they going to have enough juice left in the tank to really push out and pick off the rest of the defenders? Because they have to make it out of that building alive.
We can't afford to lose this defensive point and let GT go up 3-1. That's for sure.
Man, playing like they really want it. Grimtide. Crusader picks off Joker.
Question is, did they buy enough time? 2:30 left on the clock. Does it force Grimtide to still be super cautious on pushing this building? Did they slow them down enough on their rotation out of spawn? I don't know that they did what they needed to, but maybe. Because now, 2 minutes left, a lot of ground to cover, and the advantage for Mayhem is that they can really tuck in and force this team to push. They've got both sides of the objective covered. That's what's important. They've got one watching one side and the other watching the other side of the hill, and they're really far back watching those angles. So it's going to become a time issue at some point here for GT.
Yeah, it looks like Mayhem buying so much time from Grimtide because of the fact that they had so many in the west side. That Grimtide's now running into a time issue. Crusader in a very, very strong position. Being in that position a minute sooner would have been basically game over. But now he's going to be here and trying to get picks off of players that aren't going to be peeking him, which means he's going to have to push out into them, which is what Mayhem seem to be banking on. They know that the offense has to come to them, and they're taking full advantage of it.
Snobby Rider and Mystery about to run into each other. Is Mystery...
Yep.
Oof.
Oh, hate to see it. Such a heartbreak as Snobby's just going to pick him off unceremoniously. Beautiful job from Snobby. Getting to the last second on that peak and doing what he has to do. Mayhem playing like they really want to make it to finals.
Locking in, 45 seconds. Yeah, time. Grimtide's problem.
For this.
Yeah, they have to send it. They don't have the option. They don't have any utility. Objective is easily 10 seconds away, so Whiskey.
Yeah, even if they ran at the objective, they wouldn't get there in time if they just full sprint. So they're going to have to commit to killing the last 2 players, and they have no idea where they are. Crusader coming into the north side. He's going to take down Ghost. That's a trade. Whiskey has a shot if he catches the last player who's crossing now to crash to objective with 8 seconds on the clock. Whiskey can't make it in time. That's the call-outs coming out from Snobby's teammate. No!
What a close round that Mayhem will take by the skin of their teeth. Seconds away from what could have been Grimtide taking the map 4-1, but it's an even 2-2, and Mayhem hang on to their aspirations of getting a quarantine victory. We go to a near uncappable objective in the south, so again, going to be a tough one for Mayhem to transition from, but if they can get this offensive point, they're going to be in, you know, perfect position for what could be the Series W.
Yeah, 100%. You're going to see Mayhem really wants to close it out here and now. They are not going to make this a simple walk in the park for Grimtide. Grimtide's going to have to really work for it if they want it. This is a difficult objective to take. Of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 6 objectives on this map, this is definitely one of the 2, the other one being the north side that you really don't see a lot of caps on. That being said, a lot of the other ones tend to be ones you see a lot of caps on. This map has a lot of variability.
It really does. It's a test of your team and their skill working together. So we'll see
Gas station.
how this north spawn for Mayhem works out. You can hear the comms early before they push from James, let's get burning. So that'll be a priority for them before they work their way up. And you may say, what is burning building? Well, there's none of them are burning anymore. But if you've played the game as long as James has, then it's the middle building that used to be burning.
Yes, where once there was a fire, it has been put out, and the name stuck. So, control of burning building right now as Mayhem pushes their way directly at it with Base Slapper. Base Slapper running straight into Joa, and he's
Minus scaffold.
going to get picked by James Bulk. Means Base now has a free push to burning.
Yeah.
Whiskey holding that back line from the oil barrels. Let's take a look at this defense. We got 3 strong playing the hospital. Grimtide really showing that they love this building. They are comfortable on it. They don't mind hanging around in here.
Yeah, it is their base of operations for sure. As a squad, we'll see. Let's see how it works out. Whiskey, a little off of the base, tucked in between some tanks, ready and waiting for the Mayhem rotation, which eventually will come out of this building because that's where the trio is stacked up right now. First comes Burning, first comes Joa, tucked in behind this middle building.
Shots come out from Crusader. He's going to take out Sky Joker on the east side. There's the finish. Mayhem losing too early. There goes Whiskey. Mayhem's first blood on the board.
Sniper shots still ringing out from the rooftop. Crusader saying just an extra confirm.
Joa in position to catch Base Slapper the moment he leaves burning. And he is waiting here to get this kill. Basically, this is Joa locked into position until Base goes to leave. So if Base does not leave and plays this, Joa is basically out of commission until he goes down. And speaking of which, there it is.
Minus.
I think we're psychic.
We can just see through the walls when these players can't. As Ghost kind of rotates up next, wants to catch Joa out, keep this thing close for Mayhem, and they will. Nice pickup. 2v3, definitely doable for this duo.
Yep. Tried. No, I'm getting shot from hospital. Hospital.
All outs coming out from Mayhem that Grimtide is playing the hospital out. You know where a good chunk of Grimtide's players are, but at a 2v3 and a lot of ground to cover, Mayhem needs to get moving or get dying.
I think the call out was that Ghost is going to rotate all the way over to get on top of plane, go up the wing, and get a line of sight from the roof. I think that's
the case. That is a strong play with 4 minutes on the clock and a risky play with 2.
I agreed with you on that, and that's what they have. 2 minutes left. M2 of 3 going to come out. Lobbed over to try and hit the roof. Doesn't connect.
There's a chance at downed roof, but can't confirm it.
Point of note, had Crusaders still been playing that angle, that 100% would have finished him off. It was a very nice 203 HE lineup. Here comes the util from Ghost. Really want to make sure nobody's in that back corner. Again, beautiful utility placement. Nade just lands a bit short of the window. Nabi now in position at hospital. Here we go. Battle for hospital. Will Grimtide defend their headquarters?
Most certainly. Mystery taking the first of shots. Ghost looking over the top, waiting to see if Crusader goes down the stairs. 58 seconds left to work with. Death tucked in, and Ghost still going to try and push in. No, they'll swing back and catch a nice kill onto Death. 45 seconds left. Mystery swinging out. Crusader still inside on the stairwell and yet to drop down. Mystery still here and catching kills.
There goes Ghost. It's just Snobby left for Mayhem.
Oh, they see.
Grimtide, 30 seconds. They can wait it out. They know the last player's location. Mystery's going to commit anyway. Snobby's going to pick him off for it. Crusader last up on top of the roof.
They see
Snobby
the shadow.
has a flash. He's got a shot at it. Otherwise,
Snobby sees Crusader's shadow. 15 seconds left. They're seeing a shadow they shouldn't see, though, and now Snobby has to push out. The nade that doesn't catch them.
Snobby's blind. He has no option. Crusader doesn't have to do anything from this point on.
Wow.
Throws out the sniper. Call it a day. Beautifully done.
A odd round, as they have been, but one that comes down to time. And Grimtide go up 3-2. Kind of weird with teams at the top for them to be losing rounds to time. You know, you really do anticipate a squad at this level to understand their cadence at this point. You know, again, we're talking about players, in some cases, that have been playing this game for 8 years. It hasn't changed for 5. It's still the same game. It's still the same timing. There is no difference. I can call out exactly what these players are doing this year as I could 3 years ago. But for that to be time as an issue is, it's impressive, I suppose. But it just goes to show you what Onward does to these players and how immersed you become in the combat of this game, that even after years of experience, you still lose track of the clock.
For sure. It's been a situation of each team has been taking too long to get to where they need to be, because the defending team has been doing a great job of preventing that.
Yeah, true. Very true. The front line doing a nice job of holding people back and, again, drawing their attention away from that timer at the end of the day. See if Grimtide can string together another point, lock in this map, take us to a 5th, or if Mayhem are going to push us to a round 7 where they're going to have to take an offensive point, and that's not going to be an easy thing to accomplish.
Grimtide getting the northeast spawn, going to be pushing their way over to the center courtyard, as Joa is going to take those early lines. This objective is all about picks. How many players can you pick off? We got a nice tight defense coming from Mayhem, save for one outlier. We've got Base Slapper, who's pushed full commit into the west, and I suspect will be running into an engagement sometime soon. He is not being quiet by any means, so if there is somebody near him, his presence is going to be known. Oh, look at this angle. Base Slapper.
Ooh.
There it is. Down goes Joa.
Ooh, Whiskey's sending it. Base very much aware of this attacker here, and going to be another close quarters fight that Whiskey's just going to have to kind of guess on. So many different ways that Base could have rotated out of that stairwell.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Grimtide, especially on Subway, you saw excellent use of close quarters positions where players have to push in and basically commit to a 50-50. And whenever possible, they seem to be guiding that hand to one side or the other, that the secondary player can really get full use of it. We saw it on Red Room Underground Access, and now Base Slappa has gotten his pick. He knows players are on him. He knows players expect him, and he's forcing players into these 50-50 doorways.
Witzke's reading this really nice.
Beautifully done. That looked like pure, unadulterated experience right there. Whiskey knowing that there's a good chance that a player rotates to the back when they feel overwhelmed and taking full capitalization of it.
Three minutes left. Mayhem.
Yeah, slow, very slow.
Yeah, 4 kills away from us moving on to a 5th map for GT.
Yeah, we gotta watch for flags.
I'm not sure the play coming out for Grimtide here. They've used up a significant portion, more than half of their time, just getting halfway here. Hoping to get picks, but it looks like Mayhem playing it so tight that they're not even giving any option for picks. Mayhem seems to want it to be a last resort kind of push where it comes down to time. And Grimtide making it too cautious for the way Mayhem is playing, perhaps part of Mayhem's strategy.
Yeah, send one real early, get aggressive. Ghost shuts down Death, pushing in. 2 minutes left. Mayhem kind of know. Yeah, it's like process of elimination, right? As time ticks down, eventually you know that GT is going to have to push. They're going to have to cross some angles. And you can commit a little bit harder to those lines and find more success. That's what Mayhem are doing now. They're committing hard to these lines, understanding that GT has to move with a minute 30.
GT, well-knit unit. Look at this Mystery Crusader Whiskey, all taking control of Burning, and now this is their new base of operations. Mystery getting a pick on Sky Joker. Having Burning building to work. Minute 17 on the clock and a long distance to cover. I get the feeling in my gut that this is going to turn out like last round, where they get there and it's too late.
Absolutely is going to end that way. There's a minute left. There's no way you get to objective past what is Ghost on the front line looking out the windows, and everybody else on Mayhem. A tough time for the offense on quarantine for both teams this afternoon. Really nice toss.
Crusader getting knocked. Beautiful nade. Yuto traded back and forth. Mystery going in for the res. Ghost is going to see it. What is that, Yuto? Is that a flash? That's a flash. That's it. That's all their time. That's a full 10 seconds lost for Grimtide. Mystery's going to make a push anyway. He's got this. Ghost is going to pick him off. Ghost is that finish line. You can't get past Ghost, then you can't win. There it is. Mayhem brings it back to a 3-3. This is going to come down to what's the last objective.
Center building objective. Certainly.
Of course it is.
Capable, as we say. This one has its routes to punching in the code and finding 2 points, but this stage, Mayhem doesn't need that. They need a singular point on the board to advance on to a NA championship and a world finals against our recently crowned EU champ. I don't know who that was specifically. I'm sure someone in chat will yell at me about it, but I'll be 6 minutes in the future, so I don't know about it now. Just like we got to add this point on to Mayhem's pocket and take us to that 3-3. Ghost 10-4, standing out there as a top shooter, doubling the top kills of Grimtide with Mystery at 5-5. that can be a good thing, Fire, but also risky if Ghost goes down early this next round.
Yeah, for sure. I think that just came down to placement. Ghost on the last round, taking out 4 of the offense, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're right.
All of them going down on that final road cross. Grimtide took, I think, what might be the same route to cross amongst all 4 of those players. They all went down in that road. Maybe committing more to the east or west might have been beneficial, but there is just no way of knowing. Ghost really padding that KD in a beautiful way, doing his job and getting it done. As we come into the final round for Quarantine.
I heard on Grimtide Crusaders say, well, it's been a nice season. They clearly thought that they were done with the season. I heard them say in this load-in they thought it was the last round. A interesting issue to be running into at this point, but Crusader here deploying some new top-tier strategies of speed, throwing their gun forward to minimize the weight that it costs when moving and getting a little bit faster to this rooftop, but they're not going to catch anyone with kills on the cross.
Holding a really nice angle, though. Look at that early line that he's watching. That's going to stop players from being able to push that. And then look, he knows the timing. 30 seconds have passed. They're past that point. He needs to watch the second line. Okay, now 40 seconds have passed. I need to watch the wall. That is the difference between a professional and a casual player.
Yeah, these guys know every possible spawn for each objective, and they send their defense out to try and identify those possible spawns and then shift and adapt. So GT Crusader here, their goal is to identify this north spawn, north rotation, and if it doesn't happen, shift for the south potential threat there.
Speaking of threats, here comes Ghost, the current top KD for Mayhem, about to run into Crusader, who is not peeking the angle currently, waiting to peek it occasionally perhaps, or just doing that same technique of holding and watching the angle from a safe, low position as low as he can, and then peeking up once the target has been identified. Here comes Ghost as Crusader see it. There it is. Just like that. As Crusader is going to get refragged by Snobby Ryder.
Very fast refrag. Maybe Crusader was anticipating that that was the front line and the rest of the team would be rotating up like Sky Joker is. But a good bit of caution from Mayhem ends up with a nice refrag and things staying in even 4-4 with GT now worried about a flank. They got to be concerned about what this west rotation can do. Can absolutely have their backs exposed, and if there's a pinch coming in from the front proper, it's really tough to hold down at the end of the day. So Mayhem potentially getting into the positions they need to really overwhelm this Grimtide defense.
Absolutely. That is, note that unlike Mayhem in past rounds, Grimtide did not commit anybody into the crash site west building. Which means that Mayhem either takes this cautious on the push and wastes time fighting ghosts, or gets to push in for free at full speed, and Grimtide does nothing to stop it, which is going to put Mayhem in a really strong spot, regardless, at the end of that timer.
Here's the danger, too, is Whiskey is now watching this angle, but it's too late. They're holding the west through this whole 30 seconds too late. If they had been holding this earlier, they would have possibly identified a lot of the rotation coming in, but because they're not, they could have very well have their back exposed soon. Base is rotating. I don't know that anyone else is really watching the flank. They do have Mystery here tucked in, eyes onto their back line somewhat, but there's a lot of uncovered ground right now for Grimtide on this west side.
Speaking of uncovered base, slap it now, rotating past Whiskey, essentially for free. Looks like shots coming out of Whiskey, which means base knows he's there. Poor Whiskey's at such a significant disadvantage to Base, but Base is just going to take full advantage and decide to run right past. He's not going to commit to taking out Whiskey here.
At some point, they're going to have to.
There was the call out from Base telling Joker to give him cover fire so that he can rotate up. Good coordination from the team. As Base is going to make it in. Whiskey now doesn't see him on the cross. You only have one set of eyes. You can only watch one direction at a time. And Whiskey just misses Base on the cross. Whiskey now in a very powerful position for Grimtide. If he goes down, that's going to be a big disadvantage.
Oh!
Speaking of,
A huge shot there from Whiskey. Snobby's going to push down. They'll catch one, but they'll go down quickly. Mayhem.
good refrag coming out. Goa, direct on objective. Sky Joker has now fully committed and made the cross and is watching for Whiskey. Whiskey is now the Baba Yaga for him right now.
Is James going to find any kills here? They're not looking straight in front of them at the wall. Joa is out in the open here. And now
can rotate in
James.
for free. That's audio. Joa hears it. The swing, and Joa's going to pick him off.
Gosh. This could go to a fifth map. Death is going to find the kill, and here we go.
Let's go, come on. Hey,
All right, boys and girls.
Come on. We didn't come here to loot.
We're in this.
I don't get to go to dinner with my family tonight, but we're staying here for a fifth map.
I salute you. I salute you, Nightfire.
I'm not sure what Mayhem or Grimtide are doing, but yeah, Ghost doesn't find another kill that half, and the dependency on the 10 and 5 rears its ugly head as GT spread their kills across the board, 5 and 6 for everybody, and Mayhem take a fourth map. We're going to take a break. Get ready for map 5. Don't go anywhere. It's the NA Finals coming up. Welcome back, everybody. We're here in map number 5 of the Onward Season 17 NA Grand Finals. It's gone the full distance. Both teams trading blows map for map for map as we go to the final one, the guaranteed decider of this series in this best of 5. The winner on this map will end up being crowned the NA champion. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No ties on the line this afternoon. We will have a champion at the end of these potentially 7 rounds.
Are you not entertained? This has been a fantastic bout from both teams as they really push for that final slot in the World Finals. We see a reserved push from Grimtide as they're simply getting in position. Mayhem allowing them to go wherever they please as they have gone full 5 commit in on the objective. Not unheard of on this objective. One wild card out is Snobby, who's going to be playing down at the bottom of the stairs. Maybe the farthest one off objective, if you can call it that. Death is going to get called out. Ladies and gentlemen at home, if you are listening, notice how they're giving out the call-outs based on the directions of players, despite not knowing where they are. They're going entirely off of audio cues. The footsteps of players give insane amounts of information.
Wonder if Joe is going to launch an M203 to the back line at some point here. Could definitely be effective.
Oh, absolutely. When you're playing that tight on defense, explosives are not fun in small rooms.
That's
beautiful coordination coming out of Grimtide. Look at this front door.
covering all their lines of sight. Eventually will make their way in, but like we've been saying, Mayhem playing super tucked in here.
Yeah, they are not giving any option for getting picked off until Grimtide has made it to the final push. Seems to be working out for them so far. Grimtide has been playing it slow and cautious. Gunfire comes out. Him playing so tight. Really not giving any sort of target for Grimtide. Waiting until Grimtide is fully committed. Mystery now at the front door of the objective.
Still a lot of time. 2:30 to work with.
I'm expecting within the span of 30 seconds, everything's going to happen at once. Here comes the first util from Mystery. There goes the smoke as Joe is going to come in on Joker. There goes the C4. C4 is going to take out Death. Death's going to rotate on the backside of the Joke. There goes Snivy. I can't even say words anymore.
I think an Ensign
comes out of the north side.
caught one. That nade catches Whiskey. Crusader lobs one to the back. That's a smoke. And it's caused some confusion to the backline defense. Is Crusader going to rotate around for the res? More utility coming in. Flashes this time as both Ghost and James are all that's left for this Mayhem defense.
Flash and flash.
I'm going to say it. This is Mayhem. Crusader's in on the objective. He's about to cap.
He did! Crusader punches in
Holy
the code
crap.
under the nose of Mayhem in the smoke somehow. In the chaos, 2 points slide into Grimtide's hands.
Mayhem, insanity, cats and dogs living together. That's insane.
Oops, apologies there. We had the wrong team getting the points. Let us adjust. What was
Let's give
otherwise?
credit where it's due.
Yeah.
How long did that take? We had 2 minutes on the clock when that started, right?
Yeah.
30 seconds?
Yeah,
35 seconds.
it was. You're right on the money with everything absolutely exploding with 30 seconds left. A tremendous, chaotic push that starts off with an early kill and no C4 finding any purchase. That C4, if it had found those early connections, could have been a real key element in holding back what would have been 2 points going into GT's hands. And you can even hear Grim Tide surprised that they were taking that point and taking those 2 right there.
Yeah, that's got to be the best part, is just hearing that surprise and excitement and the pop off coming off. So much on the line for these teams. Mayhem even surprised as well. Obviously, they didn't expect that to happen at the last second. Thought they had that under control. Man, if you're Grimtide, you're running off a high right now.
Yeah.
You're coming off nerves and you're ready to go.
We're gonna have to tune into that team at the start of the round to see what they are chatting about, because it's got to be pretty good. They just come off of clutching map number 4, pushing this to a map 5 into a cap. You don't really have momentum higher than what's at right now for GT.
Yeah, they're on cloud 9 right now for sure. I can't even understand a word anymore. They're speaking so fast. It sounds like chipmunks.
They are very hyped. They understand the assignments. The question becomes is, in your excitement, do you sort of forget about other things? If this had been the same spawn, Mayhem would have caught like several kills. There was players just out in the middle there for moments, but it's instead a gas station spawn, so a very opposite-sided spawn for Mayhem. And we'll see how fast they decide to play this, and if they're going to take their time like we saw Grim Tide. And is GT going to stay tucked in? I think that may be the sort of standard meta, not necessarily extend too far out of this building.
Right. If they got to come to you, why push out to them? It's really hard to get into that building. You need all of your util to do it, and you need to really make it efficient. Because every single doorway pushing into that objective is basically borderline suicide. So you really have to be high and tight. Although there is an argument to be made to sending at least one out just to kind of force a little bit of util usage from the offense. It does pose significant risk at losing a body, and you need all the bodies you can muster on this objective. As Mayhem taking their time to really get in a position, decide how they want to push this, because they have free reign to choose to do so. I equate this objective on egress similar to playing chess. It's nobody really should be pushing out, and it all comes down to, okay, how do you put your pieces in a way so you can take the king?
Yeah, it's your standard Onward map, truly. You know, it flexes the Onward muscle of coordination, and really, when you do get into these moments of pushing in an objective from multiple sides, you've got to have a lot of discipline. You've got to be able to really lock in and not shoot your own teammates, because friendly fire, a big element in the game of Onward.
Yes, this game pulls no punches with the punishment of not being fully focused on the task at hand. Teammates are still bags of flesh and are susceptible to bullets, yours included. This game has been a fan favorite with the community for its realism when it comes to combat, and that feeling of not being able to recognize your own teammates is a very real threat.
Especially when smokes and flashbangs are coming flying at you at a high rate.
More pre-fire for me, just in case.
All right, early gunfire just came out from Death. Doing a great job watching that timer. Teammates keeping each other disciplined as much as possible. Shots coming out of Grintide appearing to be some sort of just a distraction of sorts, just to kind of maybe bait some reactions.
It's guesswork from Death. They're defending this door that Snobby isn't quite at yet. If they were at it, it would be great utility and pre-fire, but the timing, again, maybe a little bit slower than what Grim Tide are even ready for, as Mayhem are taking the slow, methodical approach to getting into this front line. Finally, utility and nades start to come in, but Mystery surviving and tucked in safely behind walls.
Crusader and Ghost getting into a firefight. They're calling out the information on util. These teams at this level, these pros are actually counting the utility used. They know how much is left. We're about to start seeing the smoke soon. Once the smokes come, that's it. It's pandemonium.
Sort of becomes a 50-50 moment.
For sure, it's about to happen. Ghost getting Crusader with a nade. Snobby on top of a grenade with Wookiee. Ghost pushing in, getting caught by the C4. Death getting the finish. 4 players in the main lobby. 4 players on Grimtide. There is so much smoke and pandemonium. Smoke in position next to a nade gets killed by Crusader as he gets death. 3 players up on Mayhem. Whiskey taking 2 on the front door. Gets picked off by Wookiee in the back. And just like that, it comes to the trade and the team kill, but it's all right. Mayhem takes the round.
A solid 2-1 in our final map of the afternoon in the NA Grand Finals. And not a perfect bounce back from Mayhem, but pretty dang close at the end of the day. An offensive point, but still the cap stinging right now. If you're Mayhem, as Grimtide go back onto the attack. Another objective that I've seen capped. This got capped at VRML Con. This objective was capped on for, I think, the series win at VRML Con in the corner. So definitely vulnerable, depending on how the defensive spreads out. And, you know, if GT take another cap, that would just be a heck of a way to lock in a 4-1 Map 5 victory and bounce back against a top team like Mayhem. The odds are against them. They're stacked against them, and they're doing fantastic right now. So it's the grand finals that we've certainly hoped for, and so far so good.
Couldn't ask for anything better. Let's see how this goes for Grimtide on this push. Taking control of the warehouses is going to be Mayhem's top priority to prevent cap. There are multiple risky positions that you can take this objective from. Specifically, most of them are behind walls, so you really have to commit at least 2 players on defense to cover every cap spot. You cannot commit 1 person to cover everything.
Go back into the action for round number 3. 4. It's hard to do math. But round 4, a fresh objective. Mayhem defends.
Round 3, you got it. It's the cap.
Yeah, you're right. Round 3. Darn it, I did have it right the first time.
Yeah,
I should believe it. I know. I can't believe.
Never apologize for anything, for any reason.
Let's see if Grimtide lock in a cap or not. That's what we're here for. That's what round number 3 is about. And I don't know, maybe after losing that defensive point, Grimtide locking in a little bit more here in map 5.
Yeah, we might see it. James pushes out into the wall here, and he's peeking over the top cautiously. He's got his back to the hedges. He's going to hear audio coming from Death hopefully soon, unless Death decides to play this carefully. As Grimtide pushes up and gets lots of... Oh, that beautiful nade comes out! Knocks Crusader on the car. Oh! Takes out the both! I'm I'm done. That's it. That was peak. That was perfect. Beautifully done. No.
Really
Tide
good
loses 2.
coordination from Mayhem to follow up like that off of the first nade connecting. Sky not pushing out, relying on their teammate in the comms. It's Mayhem locking it in. After losing to a cap, they're not going to let Grimtide get close again.
Death and James going to be the next engagement coming out. See how long that takes for that push to happen as Mystery's now cautiously made his way up. He's going to be running into 3-2 as Sky Joker is going to be holding his line pretty soon. And Ghost, the final objective inside the warehouse. Beautiful nade comes out from Joker. Would have caught a player underneath the floor of that car. And Death one taps James in the back of the head unceremoniously. Death comes for us all.
Gonna be looking for Wookiee's toes if Wookiee's not careful there on the corner.
That'll be very interesting to look out for. Yeah, Death about to be in a great position to start peeking out and clearing out popular defender spots. You should see Wookiee here in a second. And there it is.
I'm on
Oh! A third!
Oh, he gets another!
Make that a third.
Onside defense extremely weak. Snobby has to crash back. Sky Joker is here to hold things down, and Death's still in a good spot.
That's gonna be the big.
They get the ace! It's the Death ace!
Holy cow! Death does, in fact, come for us all.
A massive ace clutch from Death. The multi-kills on the backside flank. And we've talked about 1v4s, 1v3s. The dangers of a single player are many in a game like Onward. You don't see a lot of single player aces when they're down 2-5. But that's what just happened in front of us here in the NA Grand Finals. Take another look at that final round winning highlights, scooping up Sky Joker, dialing in over onto Snobby. The earlier double kill, this rotation around to the backside where they catch Wookiee on the end and then scoop up Ghost, snapping to them to find that kill. A huge couple of kills from Death. Even if James is tossing beautiful nades like this one on the Crusaders. So, you know, you can do your best, like we see there from the Mayhem squad, but it's just, you're watching two teams, like we said, in peak form, battling it out here live. And, man, GT locked in. On defense now. Can't get too confident because Mayhem very likely pop in a cap right under your nose and we go to a tie ball game for this final round of the map. But this is Grimtide's series to win. This is Grimtide's finals, a round away.
Yeah, you got to remember though, not every game is winnable, but every game is losable. There is a good chance that Grimtide slips up here and Mayhem takes the cap. It's never impossible. And so if Grimtide isn't careful, they have the opportunity to absolutely throw this. It is not over yet. Remember that that round went 2 players down immediately off for Grimtide, and it came down to a single player acing for that to turn around.
Yeah.
And likewise, Mayhem here still has the opportunity to capture the objective and force a 3-3.
It's all up in the air at the end of the day. Grimtide certainly seemed to be working well with momentum. Their first win of the day starting on map 1, where they lock in a cap and take it 4-2. Their second win in a 3-3 tiebreaker, and now what could be their third win coming off the back of a cap and an ace. it's a heck of a map, to say the least, for this Grim Tide squad with what they've managed to sneak through against Mayhem. And Mayhem, these are hard losses to take. A cap and a single ace, that's tough. Yeah. When you're in the in-between lobby, sitting there with your hand over your head, wondering how you got there.
For sure. Mayhem riding cloud 9 for the midsection of this match. Now seems to be feeling the pressure from Grimtide, as Grimtide has now capped on them twice in this match and gotten an ace on a round where they were up 2 bodies. So there is definitely going to be a mental adjustment that needs to come out from Mayhem coming into this potentially last round.
Yeah. Whew. It's a heck of an NA Finals, and we're happy that everyone has tuned in to what is a great Map 5 on Egress. There is a large group of folks that are tuning into the 17th season of Onward, our longest running season in the VRML, and we appreciate everybody that's participated in any of those 17 seasons. It's a heck of an achievement that we're pretty happy to boast about here at the VRML. And, well, if you haven't already subscribed to the network, there is a lot of content here broadcast by myself and a lot of the content creators you're familiar with in the Onward space, but on other games. In particular, we've got some fantastic Orion Drift action in the future to look forward to, the return of common faces like Palador to the VRML network. A lot of exciting stuff with FPSs going forward this year and next year, and just a lot to look forward to in the VRML. We are really in a good space after what was a tremendously successful VRML con this year. If you haven't been able to check those videos out there in the live feed, we'll be cutting them up and posting them in the videos section soon, so we'll be able to find each game a little easier. But it was 3 days, a full weekend of Grand Finals action, $20,000 on the line, a huge opportunity only possible by the developers that sponsor us, Triangle Factory, another Axiom, and Pavlov developers, Dave Ills and that squad. We appreciate them a lot for supporting the VRML financially. You'll notice I didn't say other games there, but we appreciate the ones that do and have been able to financially support us here, and we appreciate everyone that does support us here in the chat. We've seen a lot of great donations coming in. We really do appreciate those. It means a lot to us, to what we do here at the VRML, which is essentially run a league for free for anyone that wants to participate. It's not a good money-earning model, but we do appreciate everyone that does hang out and tune in, and in particular subscribe to the channel. You know, obviously building the VRML network is only possible off of the backbone of VRML, which is definitely Onward and the Onward community. So happy to be here, happy to be here in the finals, happy to be here in what is a tremendously contentious finals, with Grimtide staring down the barrel of a NA Grand Champion in Season 17. They just need this defensive round right now.
Yeah, I'll go. Get the pick off the line. Someone going up the other workshop stairs.
We're curious to see how Grimtide sets up their defense here. Are they going to be able to shut down the kind of push that they themselves made last round and got so much value out of? It seems that taking control of the office side was the downside for Mayhem, or the downfall of Mayhem, rather. So we'll see how that goes. Mayhem getting the opposite side spawn. Oh, I should be able to call that out. You should hear audio. Need a quick look for some radio clicks. No comms, no radio clicks. Interesting. Okay. Talked about information. It's going to be very vital for both teams to get as much information out to the rest of their teammates as possible, especially on defense. Oh, in a prime position to be able to tell the rest of this team where Mayhem is coming from. Also, if you look at Joa, his angle has his foot clipping through the wall. I hope that doesn't cost him, as there is the potential for getting shot through barriers should you clip through them by accident. Hopefully that not being the case here.
Yeah, I don't know that
Slow
Ghost can see it until they keep pushing forward, and I don't know if they'll be looking over in that corner, per se.
That's going to be the shot from Joa as he takes on Snobby and Sky Joker. It's refragged by Ghost. Quick reaction time from Ghost to get around that wall and punish.
They're in a pretty open spot. Yeah, they're in an open
For one
spot
trade.
right now.
But how do you feel if you're Mayhem? You're down 2. It's a 3-1 lead to GT. And it's not where you want to be on the momentum side of things. You want to be ahead. You don't want to have 2 players going down to 1 on your early entry. You know, the goal being you find the picks yourselves. So definitely a shift in the wrong direction for this Mayhem offense. They needed positive reinforcement for them on this push, and now they've gotten things stacked against them in the 3v4.
Absolutely, absolutely. That first engagement costing them 2 players is just too much cost that they just can't afford to pay. Whiskey about to be the next one to get a fatality as James is going to be crossing his line of sight slowly in just a second. I don't see any way that James survives this encounter if he takes it the way he's taking it.
Timing.
I see one way. No way. Okay, there we go. If he had stopped in front of those barrels and not been seen, I don't know what I would have done. I think I would have thrown my headset. Ghost now holding Whiskey's line. He knows exactly where he is. Whiskey in a prime position to just swing up on him, but he's watching the correct angles that he needs to be. There it is.
Change the refrag.
Again, though, Mayhem taking trades that they can't afford to be trades. These need to be picks. Great nade from Crusader. Does not catch Ghost.
The question becomes, with 3 left alive, does Grimtide let Wookiee win? Or do they defend the objective effectively? Right now, Death very exposed to this flank from Wookiee. And not ready for Wookiee to have gotten this far on the rotation already.
That's very true. Ghost, a great grenade to stop anybody covering the corner who potentially is swinging for the capture position. Wookiee about to get Death in the back if he's not careful. There it is. He sees him. Oh, he had utility out. He couldn't shoot him. There goes the nade, though, so he doesn't need to. That gives callouts. Oh, it's a beautiful... Is that a nade? Oh, that's a flash. Already got off. As Reaper's going to get that res.
Oh, and a huge res at that. Death swaps, flies out after getting scooped up, catches the kill, and Ghost is alone pushing in to the objective corner. Is there a way that they thread this needle? Catch 1 or 2 kills. There is if a disconnect comes in as Crusader goes down to the threats of internet. Their front line picked off with no comms or information to work off of.
Oh my, this game has the ability to just do the most out-of-pocket things at the craziest times. Crusader disconnecting at the worst possible time as Ghost crossed in. Ghost is now fully deep in the warehouse, and for those of you that don't know, just to the right of Reaper behind those boxes, you can capture the objective from that corner. That's the pick. Ghost has to watch for Death, who has to crash. He has no option. He's going to swing him. And they trade!
Grimtide take the championship off of a trade, and if it doesn't get any more onward than that, I don't know what does. A 4-1 victory in our final map with caps, aces, and a trade to end it all. It is Onward in a nutshell right here in a fantastic Season 17 NA Finals. Fire Soul, did you think GT would be taking this one today?
I'll be honest, based off the start, I thought they had a great shot, and then Mayhem really just started running away with it, and I thought there was no way. But those clutch caps, those clutch moments, and that ace, like I can't believe it. They pulled it off. They're going to the finals. insane.
Insane. We've got still more Onward ahead of us to look forward to next weekend with the World Finals, with the top teams from each region duking it out against each other for a chance at that number 1 crowned spot worldwide. Mayhem not going to be that representative for North America. Grim Tide advancing on off of a tremendous final 2 maps there, 4-3, 4-1. And a great series to tune into. You know, at the end of the day, a stellar series for us to catch and watch, and I couldn't be happier that I'm here for the Season 17 NA Finals. Maybe you'll see me next weekend, who knows. But Firesoul, any final thoughts for the folks tuning in before we sign off this afternoon?
Much love to the community. It's been, everyone's really been giving as much as they can. It's been a labor of love this season, and as even though it's been a strange season, man, you guys have all been fantastic. It's been all the fans, the guys tuning in every week.
Shout out to all the casters too. We've had a lot of commentary, a lot of Onward casting coming in this season. Maybe the most I've seen in a while, quite frankly. So a big shout out to all the casters putting in the time. I'm obviously just jumping in here at the finals. Happy to be here, but would have gladly had any one of the Mayhem casters essentially on the desk. I'm sure they would have been happy to be here, and will likely be here next weekend. But either way, a stellar performance from the Mayhem squad and the casting squad, essentially. We appreciate both teams for playing and putting up their best effort today. But that is it for us here on the desk, and it for us here in the NA Finals. Like I said, next weekend is more Onward action, but for now, we'll be tuning out. My name has been Nightfire with 2 E's, my co-caster Firesoul with 1 E. We'll see you all next time. Until then, stay classy. Onward VRML is brought to you by Downpour Interactive, Helga, the esports manager. Thanks for watching VRML.